was his 100th career goal as well. As for the bench, Phillips, Lundstrom, Ajayi, Hirakawa, Joseph and JB, Dowell, Kumas and McNair. And for Millwall, they make a couple of changes from the side that beat Oxford United last weekend as well. They've made a change up front. There was a doubt about whether he'd be fit, but Josh Coburn is fit. He replaces Ivanovic in one of those two changes. It is the Tigers against the Lions, and it's the playoffs.
Two games that could shape Hull City's future. A big prize, two big nights. It's James Hogarth and BBC Radio Humberside Sports.
Every game live. BBC Radio Humberside Sports.
We are now less than an hour from kick-off. Two games and a possible outcome that could see City playing at Wembley in a couple of weeks' time. The Tigers host Millwall in the first leg of the Championship playoff semi-finals. Let's remind ourselves how City got here following a dramatic final day 6 days ago.
Right-footed, steps up, slots it down the middle as the keeper goes to his right, and City are all square at the MKM Stadium. They're backing in with the swiftest of responses.
After the year on the whole, I think it would have been a real shame if we didn't make it. First of all, it's a reward for the hard work of everything that we've done this season, all the hard work, all the blood, sweat, tears, all the tough times, all the hard times we've been away from our families, all them things, all them times where things weren't going so well. It's all come down to this.
Freaky taking cross into McBurney! Ollie McBurney may justify the Tigers into the playoffs, and he simply had to be that man, and it's McBurney that's done it. You need big players in big moments, in big games, and that is a big goal. Hull City 2, Norwich City 1.
You need your big players to step up on big days, and again, if you're at the top end of the pitch, you start hanging your hat into scoring a goal. And big man as well, he gets into the areas.
Hull City in the playoffs for the first time in 10 years. The Premier League dream remains alive for Sergei Yakirovic's side.
Amazing day for everyone involved, the club, because they're so confident in ourselves to go and get the job done. It was a weird feeling because you don't know what to do. But we know we feel it if we just hold on, and then as soon as the referee goes through, it's just crazy seeing.
City are a playoff side. They'll be back here to take on Millwall for a chance over 2 legs to return to Wembley, a site of so many great moments in this club's history in recent years.
They're the big moments, the big games that we all want to be involved in. As a kid, when you dreamed of being a footballer, and we sort of turned that into reality, but nothing's done. We've put ourselves in a position to go and get to Wembley, hopefully, and then obviously what will be will be.
The recap of a dramatic final day of the regular season, and if you recognise that piece of music, it wasn't Happy Hour by the House Martins, but it did come off the album Hull nil London nil Hull 4. Did I get that right? Which did feature Happy Hour. We thought we'd set it to an album title that for many fans of Hull City has been carried through the decades, particularly when Hull City have beaten London teams. I think it was actually coined in the 2008-2009 season when City did indeed beat 4 London teams in the Premier League. Introduced it to someone who was involved in that squad, Craig Fagan, alongside of us this evening. Nice to see you once again, Craig. Evening to you. And
thank you.
How did it fit? Obviously you're still involved in football, but away from this football club now. But hearing Mike's commentary, and that kind of sets the scene for how City got here. The permutations of 6th place changed 5 or 6 times last Saturday afternoon. How does it feel hearing that?
Well, no, I watched from home, and obviously saw the change, so I was excited because I want the club to do well and get in the playoffs, and to get in there the last minute was excellent for everybody. The excitement even carried on into the drive up for today, so got there by merit. I think we deserved to get there in terms of what the expectation was. I'm not sure everybody would have thought we got to the playoffs, but there has been some good spells this season and turned things around when there was doubt. So in the playoffs by merit, and it's up for us now, like you say, 2 games. Can we get to the Premier League?
Mike White, one thing that you haven't been able to do is make signings shortage of money this year. We know that. We've obviously spoken about that, but one thing City seem to have done is sign team spirit, sign character.
Yeah.
And there are comparisons to that team in 2008. How valuable has that team spirit, character, and clearly a united front been this season?
Yeah, massive, and that has been a big part of it. When you're around the, we don't see the inner workings of it all the time. We're not privileged to that, but we're lucky enough we get to go down on press days and we're around the club and they get to know us. So you see glimpses of it. Same with you guys back in 2008. We were in and around it, but you don't see everything. There's so many comparisons. You look at the big characters you had in there, and fans have said it this year. They've said there's a real feel of 2008 about this squad. And when you've got a McBurney in there, a Lundstram, a Matt Crooks, big characters, that can go a long way towards lifting it. And that was a big part of what happened in 2008, wasn't it? It was never. It was about the sum of the parts rather than the individuals.
Yeah. I mean, I was going to mention that in terms of the lads that you mentioned there were Sheffield United lads as well, and their changing room was built on that. What I will say as well, from an outsider's point of view, watching in, I believe the manager has control of the dressing room, and I think what I mean by that, he has their respect. So he is in charge. So he demands and he gets what he wants from the players. That's from looking from an outside. But as a team point of view, not being able to make big signings, and it is like they're all together. Similar to how we were. Yes, I know we made signings in our group, but it was everybody a group. You're all needed. You're all going to play your part. Even throughout the playoffs. Remember Nathan Doyle when he came on, he scored. Caleb Foden coming off the bench and scoring between him and Dean Windass. So you need things like that. The group fighting together. It makes a massive difference when everyone's pulling in the right direction, and also it helps you to turn results around, which really you shouldn't get. It's just that togetherness makes a massive difference.
And there was so much pressure and expectation on Caleb, wasn't he? Because he came into, you talk about a club that had moved from Burfree Park, came into this stadium and things were starting to look up, and then he comes in at Hull City, and this is how it was at the time. It sounds maybe disrespectful now, but at the time, Hull City paid £1 million for a player. There was a lot of expectation on him. I love that he got of course got the goal against Fulham as well to win the first game in the Premier League. All those little stories in there. As you said, Nathan Doyle, a real grafter of a player, but didn't really ever get a chance to get a full regular run in the side, but had moments. When he came on at Watford, superb when he came on.
Exactly.
Absolutely epitomised that grafting spirit. You had JJ Kocher sitting not on the bench, he was like one of the non-playing squad members at Wembley that day. I know he had the injuries and everything as well, but big smile on his face. It was just that spirit.
Yeah, the team spirit was massive, and like I say, it carried us through games. And like you've just said there, JJ Kocher, I remember watching him when I was a young kid, and then to have him not even in the squad, but he was the first to congratulate everybody, everything that he'd seen and done in his career. So I think the togetherness in this group is there to see, and I think that's what it's about. I mentioned it before. It's a family club still in my eyes. So the way the players are with the press, the way they are with people that are coming into the training ground, that's how it should be, and there's a lot more of that with the fans now, I see, which is better too.
Looking at the team sheet, the names obviously for City fans speak for themselves. Someone who certainly divides the opinion of supporters, even in this run that's led to the Tigers being in the playoffs, is Louis Coyle, Holborn club captain. Doesn't necessarily get the plaudits he deserves, and I think to a certain extent, well, he knows that, and maybe plays on that. How important is his role? Maybe not necessarily winning the ball, taking the throw-ins to that. Right now in that dressing room, local lad, full of spirit, full of fight.
Yeah.
How big is that?
I think it's big myself. I know he does get a lot of stick by the fans. Again, I don't see every performance which he plays in or match that he plays in, but he knows what the fans want. He understands the feeling around the place, and liken him to a Nick Barbie, different player, but we had the likes of him in Ashby. So from that point of view, we lived in the area, and I think previous years gone by, there wasn't the understanding of what the fans needed and what they want, that togetherness, and he epitomises that. He loves the club, obviously lives in the area, his family are in the area, and he cares. And being captain, he brings that togetherness, he brings the group together. Yes, he has had doubters this season, had one or two incidents off the pitch, but ultimately he cares for this football club, and you need people like that in your squad and your team.
Mike, one player that we've talked about already, but probably can count himself unlucky not starting, is Kyle Joseph. That's not to say he'll not have an involvement in this game or this two-game period. How unlucky do you feel he is?
I think he is, because you know he's that kind of player that he's going to give you full energy, full effort. Yes, there's that talk about. I'm going to make a comparison and fatal back. You were one of those grafters in this team that you didn't always necessarily get into. You weren't always getting the goals and things, and sometimes you were judged on that way. You always gave 110% every single game. That's Kyle Joseph for me. It's that exact same player. You want those kind of players in your team. But I can understand why he's not getting into this starting 11 tonight. As much as we questioned it, if Millwall is on it, Millwall is a difference maker.
Yeah.
He wasn't on it last week. He needs to be tonight. This is his kind of platform tonight. That would have been when maybe I would have looked. Then if you do that, for me, you would have moved Gallagher out wide, because I still don't think he's as effective in the 10 role. And then when you've seen Joseph play with McBurney, I think twice we've seen Joseph Shepherd scrub at half time.
Right.
So you're kind of trying to fit people in to work a certain way. We know Sergei's not frightened to change things if it's not working. So he's got that. And if you could bring a Cal Joseph on, and he's really won the fans over this year, because he's had a full season. He's been helped, I think, playing alongside the likes of McBurney and players like that. That's a good player to be able to bring on.
Yeah, I think you're spot on. I think it's tough for the manager to change the front three at least, and it's important. Whereas in that 10, they get hold of the game and create things, and it's a big stage. Cameras are on, everybody's watching this evening, and whoever's in there with those attacking players needs to be on the front foot tonight and create chances for us to put away.
Craig Fagan alongside of us this evening for BBC Radio Humberside Sport. We'll talk to some fans in a few minutes' time. There just seems to be a balance about this team when you look at it. And yes, there have been periods of the season when the injuries have meant that younger players have been on the bench, they've given opportunities to come, people like that. But this team feels like there's a balance and a shape there.
Yeah, 100%. It helps with the front players we've got, with more of a threat, but also the way the manager likes to play his team is not for all-out possession. It's slightly different. He likes to get the ball in the box and create chances. He's not afraid for them to be a little bit more open and give the ball away at times by trying to be positive. And I think it helps the players that he's got in the team. So, like I say, big opportunity this evening for the players.
What about the atmosphere? A lot's made about the atmosphere here, that it can not necessarily be as vocal as some grounds elsewhere, and especially in the Championship, but last weekend the noise was obviously louder and more consistent through the game. So, and we know some players shut that down and they're able to focus on what they're doing. What kind of player were you when it came to the noise?
I love the noise, but I think as players we have to create that as well, and that could be by closing someone down, that could be you making a run, it could be you doing something exciting for the fans, in terms of taking someone on. The players have to take part in that as well, and sometimes previous seasons the football's been a little bit slower, hasn't gone forward as quick as the fans sometimes want to see, and yeah, the players have a responsibility as much as the fans do to create an atmosphere. But I know for a fact, I'm not sure we're not going to struggle for an atmosphere this evening. I think the fans will be 100% behind the players, and the players will wanting to make it a good evening for the fans.
Craig, we'll come back to you shortly. Craig Fagan alongside of us this evening. So let's hear from the City head coach Sergei Yakirovich, who jokingly admits that when he spoke to Mike White this week, their season being extended into the playoffs has had an impact on his family life.
We postponed holiday. It's good. No, I feel excellent. This is a big achievement for us. I feel like we won the league. So it's been a long season and very interesting. And like I said, everything we decided last round, and that means that I learned a lot about championship, about, I can say honestly, fair play, because credit to all teams last round they played 100% in Norwich, Sheffield United, Middlesbrough. Of course, it's very nice experience because you always in this league in football learn something new, and I'm really very happy because I'm part of this season championship.
having coached and managed in Eastern Europe, and particularly in Turkey, where it can be quite very emotional, quite intimidating, I would imagine at times. How big a shift has it been then coming to where you still get the atmosphere, you still can get those intimidating atmospheres, but how big a shift has it been for you this year?
For me, it's I can say normal shift. I can say I expected maybe not about atmosphere. Atmosphere is very nice. Right, I can say like this because in other countries, if you can reach 6 games victory, you can win the game. Then pressure is rising, so it's here it's pretty different. Okay, people are not happy, of course, but this I can say this immediately after the game. So next game it's already okay. We are there, it's positive, but I mean how they approach the football, how they see the football, it's different from other countries. So they're supporting the team. They even if you can't win the game a long time, they still support it. For me, great example is, for example, Sheffield. You know, of course, every stadium is full, but Sheffield Wednesday in this situation, the fans like they want to even help more help, you know, to the team, which is great. The next game, almost 34,000, which is incredible.
Yeah, it's remarkable to see. When you went home on Saturday, how did you reflect on what happened that day?
2 hours I respond to all messages. I got a lot of messages from Europe. I can say all Balkan, from all countries on Balkan, because I felt that everyone watched the game, tracked us, and it was very, very interesting. And I felt very good, big relief, because in the end, you look back, a big achievement for us, for everyone in the club. And also, I felt good, but I didn't sleep good because of, I don't know, I cannot say like this about all these emotions.
Yeah.
And but in the morning, I felt good, you know, like starting.
Pinched yourself to see if it was real.
Yes, it's real. Big success for us.
Now we've got to move on and get ready again. You're going to be seen as the underdogs probably to many because you finished in that 6th place spot. You welcome that?
I welcome that, but I think now we start a new tournament. It's a new challenge. We have 2 games to try to reach the final. So we have Millwall, there is Southampton, this way it will be anything happen. Nothing will be decided in the first game, because no matter who will win or lose, whatever. And this is also our approach must be with a very high concentration on the task in front of us, because we know everything about Millwall and they know everything about us, because we faced it already 2 times. Every team has the 1 victory, so we will see after 180 minutes plus addition.
Sergei Kirovic speaking to Mike White. The players of both Hull City and Millwall are now out on the pitch here at the MKM Stadium, and both in their cream and white training tops. If you're on your way to the MKM Stadium, about half an hour from kick-off, let's hear from you this evening. You can text 81333, start the message with the letters R8. You can WhatsApp 08000 321 333. Craig is here, Craig Fagan, who's just been complimented by John, one of the fans that sits alongside of us. Swanee doesn't get that attention. Wow. John, you do something special.
Oh yeah, listen, I appreciate he's obviously saying good luck for my new job, but I want these to do well tonight. That's more important tonight, and that's what I'm looking at. But I'll concentrate on my season when we get to that.
There's a summer holiday.
Exactly.
And all of that. What's impressed you about Sergei Kirovic, both from a football industry point of view? Because I know you hear from other fellow professionals, former professionals, about people in the industry, but also from watching games on the TV and keeping in touch with the club?
Yeah, I mean, from an outsider looking in, I'm not around the training ground or anything like that anymore, but from past managers that have been here, like I say, I think he is the manager, he's in charge, he's the boss kind of thing, and that's what I'm seeing. He's in control, seems to be in control of who's playing, and control of the players, in control of the mood, and he cares. He looks like he cares a lot, and I like that. I know he got sent off the other week, but I like that passion, and it shows that the way the team are playing for him, and he wants the players to do well. And like I say, he comes across as he's the boss and he's in charge.
As the speaker system is wrapped up, that's delivery of the Sandstorm any time, I imagine.
A long time ago. A long time ago.
That personality, and we heard from Louis Coyle talking to Mike at the end of the game last week. People won't necessarily see that he's a funny guy and he's got humour, but he's clearly a formidable character. He's both Balkan in birth and his presence, and those two things are elements of his character.
Yeah, he's always going to be different around the training ground. I think sometimes people's personas, obviously, the fans only get to see a certain amount, and behind closed doors or in the training ground, the managers are always different. Brownie was always quite lively in front of the fans, and was never shy to speak to them. But when we were on the training ground, he was in work mode, and that's how he got us playing our best, improving us. He was a different character in front of the fans to what he was with us.
Mike, I was just going to say, and I think I was surprised when Louis said that, because I think the fans, one of the reasons they have warmed to the manager is they have seen that side of the character. It helps. I think it helps from our point of view these days that we're filming a lot of our stuff. So when we go to do these interviews, a lot of our press conferences, we're filming and we're putting clips out, so they're not just listening to the interviews, they're seeing him. And he's got that, he's a big, impressive, imposing figure, but he's got a little glint in his eye, and he's great. We've said before, from our point of view, you're not trying to make friends with managers or anything, but you want to have a good relationship when you're dealing with him all the time. And he's great to deal with. He's honest. He'll tell it like it is. He'll answer questions. It's not to answer too many tough questions, but if they're playing not quite played at it, he'll be honest about it. And I think so fans have seen that side. I understand where Louis is coming from. You see a different side completely on the training ground. But I think one of the reasons the fans have bought into him, because they can see that personality that he's got. I mean, he is a huge, larger-than-life character. But actually, a man of few words. The players have said that. But when he speaks, they listen.
Yeah, exactly that. Exactly that. And sometimes that's what's needed from a manager. Obviously, you put sessions on, won't do too much, maybe. But when he talks, that's when you're in trouble and he means business. So, yeah, that's the kind of manager I'd like to play for, definitely.
Back to you shortly here on Humberside Sport Live. Let's see what the fans are thinking as they are arriving about half an hour to go to kick off. My wife's been speaking to some fans here in the West Stand.
Right, let's talk to Emma and Mike. They were sitting near us on Saturday, and I could see that they were going through the ringer, they were going through all the emotions. Let's find out how they're feeling ahead of this one, because last week secured it, now the playoffs are here. First leg tonight. Emma, I'll start with you. I looked across a few minutes ago, you gave me a prediction. I'll get that from you in a second, but how are you feeling tonight?
I've been nervous all day, been trying not to think about it, but I'm hoping we can do it. The nerves are kicking in now.
As I said, we were chatting last week.
Yes.
What did you go through emotions-wise last week then to get to this point?
Like a roller coaster. It was obviously when we was 1-0 down, it was just like we've got to keep going, and then when we got the penalty, it was just like right, we're back in it now, and then 2-1, just keeping an eye on the Wrexham score, and they were like 7 minutes in front of us. It was just like we had to hold on. So by the end it was still can't believe we've done it really.
How deserving are they being here tonight?
I think very deserving, because at the beginning of the season, all the pundits and everybody had us being relegated. When Sergei was announced as manager, it was like he's a nobody. Everybody had us down, so they're very deserving.
I'll come back to you in a second. Mike, let's talk to you. A lot of people seem to be overlooking City. I've seen a podcast this week, an Earbot podcast that did features on Southampton, Middlesbrough, Millwall, and Wrexham. And it seems to be that feeling that usually it's Millwall saying some wobble, some blips, and it's been a bit difficult towards the end. Why so nervous?
I just think with that same start of games, I'm very slow. It takes them 25 minutes to get into the game. We can't do that in a playoff situation. We need to start from the off.
It's gone unchanged tonight, is that the right call?
I believe so. Looking at the six bench, I don't know who will put on. Possibly Joseph. I'd like to see Joseph play.
That's it. Emma, it's something we've been talking about with Craig in the build-up to this one. When you've got someone like Carl Joseph, who really has won the fans over this year, hasn't he, after a difficult first half of the season when he came in. That's not a bad play to go to bring on if you need to change it, is it?
No, not really. A lot of people around us, you probably heard them, the slating, as soon as he gets the ball, like shouting, get him off, but he's kept us in games, he runs it like a workhorse, he's just all over the place and he's fighting for his chance, and I think if he gets a couple of goals behind him, his confidence will be relevant.
When you've got someone like Ollie McBurney in the side, that will surely give you all kinds of confidence about what this team can do, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. I think having somebody like McBurney in the team, he'll bring on jerseys as well. I think even jerseys have said in previous interviews that McBurney's encouraging him and giving him team talks and things like that. So yeah, having McBurney in there will improve jerseys as well.
What would it mean to see this team back at Wembley?
Everything. I've been every time they've been to Wembley and I love it every time. It just, as a fan, it's something you think would never happen and it happens and you just can't believe it and it's an enjoyable day out when they win.
When they win. Yeah. You gestured across me a few minutes ago before I came to chat to you. You gestured a prediction. What are you going for?
I'm going for a 1-1 tonight.
I think people will take that to go into the second leg. Mike, what about you?
I'll see 1-0 to City.
Take that. Best of luck. Enjoy the night.
Thank you very much.
Plenty of positivity then as we approach kick-off in this first leg. Championship playoff tie between the Tigers and the Lions. This from Epping Tigers says, not a bit nervous for the match, embracing the challenge. Well, the challenge is on the way in 28 minutes time. Minutes away from a kick-off that on Saturday at times didn't look like it was likely to be a part of your calendar. It's here at Hull City, 2 games away from a possible return to Wembley, 3 games from a possible return to the Premier League. Someone who's been in that position, Craig Fagan, alongside us for commentary tonight. Recap of the TV's all frequencies from Mike Wines.
When you talk about that uncertainty, Jim, you look at City's record going into the end of the season, 1 win in the last 7, but that win coming at an important time when they beat Norwich on Saturday to get themselves into this playoff position, as opposed to Millwall being in 5 with 3 wins and 2 draws. But as Sergei Kikirovich has said, it's a new competition now, it's a new tournament, the reset button has been pressed, and they go again across 2 legs in this playoff semi-final. He's gone unchanged from the side that beat Norwich here last Saturday. Pander in goal with Coyle, Egan, Hughes and Charles the back 4. Slater and Crooks the 2 sitters with Balumi, Gelhardt, Miller and then McBurney leading the line. On the bench, Phillips, Lundstrom, Ajayi, Hirakawa, Joseph, JB, Dowell, Kumas and McNair. As for Millwall, a couple of changes from the side that beat Oxford on the final day of the season. They bring in second leading scorer Josh Coburn. He was a doubt with an injury, being pass fit for this one. So it's Patterson in goal, Leonard, Kramer, Cooper and Sturridge the back 4. Denor and Mazu Sakho, he's one of the players to come in along with Coburn. Femi Aziz, Kamil Negley, Tieno Ballo and Josh Coburn leading the line. Up front, Max Crocombe, the former Grimsby Town promotion winner with in the playoffs with the Mariners. Danny McNamara, Billy Mitchell, Mahalo Ivanovic, Alfie Doughty, Macaulay Langstaff, Tommy Watson, Luke Condell and Barry Bannon, one of the players to drop out. Bannon, of course, played in that Sheffield Wednesday side when City were last in the Championship playoffs and the Tigers came out winners at Wembley over Sheffield Wednesday. It is City against Millwall and we're not too far from kick-off.
Getting you closer to your club. BBC Radio Humberside Sports.
All 4 stands here at the MKM Stadium, filling up nicely. The disco, the dance music pumping around the ground as well. DJ Eddie Richards starting his set from an unusual position. playing his tunes from pitch side rather than in one of the stands tonight because of the demands of the TV and extra cameras being here. Well, let's hear from Hull City's Kyle Joseph. For him, it's a bit of a family affair, this game against Millwall, as we'll hear shortly. Now, Joseph starts on the bench today. Should get to feature at some stage either tonight or on Monday night. Certainly could have a big part to play across these two legs. And you've been talking to Mike about the players being a new career moment for him personally.
So first experience of it, I remember watching it as a kid and all the years growing up, just watching the playoffs. So yeah, it's the games you want to be involved in, the most exciting games. And yeah, I think to go through the playoffs would be unreal.
So what sort of expectation do you have for the playoffs then, having watched on?
Yeah, just know that the absolute chaos really. I think it's it's a game where 3 games away from the Premier League and where everyone's got that in their minds and that in their end goal. So yeah, I think it'll be a level raiser from the season, from the normal games. But again, it's one of them where you've got to prepare properly, you've got to face it head on and be excited for it.
Have you ever played at Wembley?
I've played at Wembley.
I wasn't sure if as a youth or something like that you might have had a chance. So are you allowing yourselves to talk, and I've carefully worded this, because I know you won't take anything for granted, but are you allowing yourselves to talk about the chance of getting to Wembley with this?
I don't think it's something which is not talked about. I think everyone's in the right to talk about Wembley and stuff like that. But everyone knows, being realistic that you've got to get through your playoff semi-final first. But again, after I'm chatting, I've kind of talked about Wembley and stuff like that. But again, like full hope about getting a good result and then going to Millwall on Monday and finishing the job.
What will make Millwall so tough?
Yeah, they're a tough team. They've got a fantastic manager, fantastic squad of players. We've had 2 really good games against them this season. Obviously been on the end of different results. But yeah, they're a team which want to, they get in your faces. They want to take the game to you, and we felt that this season, but we felt like we've hurt them as well at times in the games. The game away, and then especially the game at home. I thought we probably had our 2 best performances this season against them. Obviously different results, but yeah, again it'd be a difficult game. It'll be a physical team, and we've got a match that we've got to make sure we go into the game mentally prepared and physically prepared.
What's the approach need to be being the home team in the first leg?
Yeah, I think it's one of them. It's a difficult one because I never really seen as what the advantage would be whether you're 6th or 3rd. But yeah, I think the home leg, I think you just want to go out and put a good performance on in front of your fans. You want to take the momentum from the game on Saturday to take the momentum into the game. It'll be a fantastic atmosphere. It'll be a fully sold out stadium. Yeah, it'll be one of them where we want to go and put a good show on for our fans and make sure we get a positive result.
Given that your dad is a Millwall fan, how does that all feel going into this?
No, it's we've thought about it. It's I think for him as a dad, we used to watch playoff games and Millwall be involved in, when they played Leeds in the playoffs and League One and stuff like that. So I think for him, it'll be a big pinch me moment seeing his son in the playoffs against his team that he's watched for years and years. So yeah, it's a funny moment.
He's talking to you this week.
Yeah, he's talking to me this week. He sends me the occasional Millwall post, but no, he's been really supportive. He's always put my best interest at heart first.
As Carlo Joseph talking about his connections to Millwall, he starts on the bench tonight. Let's talk to someone with strong connections to this Millwall team. He played for Millwall amongst several clubs. Steve Morrison is here for our colleagues at BBC Radio London. Good evening to you, Steve.
Good evening.
I introduced you to Craig Fagan, like you, as ex-footballers, wouldn't have met before. Have you 2 played against each other rather than in the same team at some point?
Yeah, I think we coached against each other.
Yeah. I'm glad you're not playing tonight, though. That's a good thing. That's a good start.
Steve, give us a perspective on it from a Millwall point of view. To me, it feels like the clash of the 2 teams who didn't necessarily expect to be here at this stage of the season.
I think for me, it's the 2 teams that have got the same style of play, and it's going to be a really cagey game. And who doesn't make the most mistakes mostly wins this game. I think Millwall year on year, especially with Alex Neil and Gary, I know Gary's down there, have always flirted with the playoffs just outside. I suppose in the last few seasons, if it was the 8 teams like it's going to be, sort of 6 teams in the playoffs like it's going to be, they would have got in quite a few times. Obviously, Hull from the season they had last year, maybe don't expect to be where they were, and they said on that last day they weren't in, they were in. and then they're wearing when it matters. So, no, I think at the start of the season, everyone has an ambition. I think most teams' ambitions would have been to finish as high up the table. Obviously, Millwall had an outside chance of automatic, but both teams were there on merit. I think we can't put these sides down. I think they've been in the top 6 best teams in the league. I know it's a cliche, but the table don't lie, does it? Ultimately, and I think to do anything other than say that these two deserve to be there is a little bit does them a discredit, I think.
Yeah. What about psychologically? This Millwall team had a chance last Saturday of reaching the automatic promotion places, not held by the fact that Queen's Park Rangers against Ipswich fielded a very young team, and obviously Ipswich took that early lead. Psychologically, does that play a part in how they have been this week mentally, or if anything, does that fire them up?
No, I think everyone knew that QPR weren't going to beat Ipswich, and that's why Josh probably could have played Saturday and wouldn't have. And fully expected when I turned up tonight, the first question I asked, would he be playing? And when you heard he was, it was I think it was always an outside chance. Everyone made a big deal out of it, and I think we all wanted to kind of see it. I think everyone in football wanted to see it happen. It's just such a great story. But yeah, the reality was, like, QPR are inconsistent when they're trying, let alone when they're naming an understrength team, and one of the strike defenders is trying to do 3 round the rows on the edge of his own box and trying to clear a ball, just says everything he needs to do. And all that happened was it ruined the game after 3 minutes, not 2 minutes scored. That was just the disappointing thing. But no, I think if anything, Hull finishing the way they did and getting into the playoffs gives them that little bit of momentum, a bit of fire in their belly. Millwall, I think, were fully expected to be in there. Well, they were. They've been now in there for what, a month, 6 weeks. It's just a case of this week's been based around a different type of game than what it would have been if you were playing a Southampton or Middlesbrough, because you knew what that game was going to look like. The other team were going to have the ball, you get into shape, and you try and hit them on the transition. Now we've got 2 teams who both like to have the transition, and neither of them overly like to have the ball. So it's going to be a real interesting match.
It feels to me like Josh Coleman is one of the players to look out for from a Hull City point of view tonight. I talked to a Millwall fan on the programme last night. He said if he plays, it's significant. Is he the dangerous one tonight from an opposition point of view?
I think he's a threat. I think Aziz is the most dangerous player on the pitch in terms of out-and-out individual ability. Could be anonymous for 30 minutes and then do a step over and bang one into the top corner. Like, that's something that obviously I would never. I'd have to have a good game. Like, I wouldn't have a moment in a game. So what he does is he just, when you look at the team now, when you look at Coburn and Ivanovic to come on, that's a much tougher proposition than just having Ivanovic or just having a Coburn. It's kind of it's an added threat. You can, if they're losing, they can go and 2 up front. Get to 60 minutes, Josh will run his race, you can then put Ivanovic on for half hour, so it mixes up the game. He is a threat. He's a really good pedigree at Middlesbrough. Come flying on the scene, everyone remembers him coming on the scene and how well he did. A little couple of setbacks with injuries, but yeah, look, he's a big player in all sense of the word. His size, his frame, the way he moves, he can hold the ball up, he can run it behind. So this Millwall team doesn't seem to be in it, and away from home doesn't seem to be able to score at home. So if he's going to score, it's not going to be today.
Well, thank you for the warning, Steve. I much appreciate it. Really good to see Steve Morrison, the former Millwall striker, who's part of the commentary team for our colleagues at BBC Radio London. So it might feel like it's a fresh start for all 4 teams involved in the playoffs, but he's also denying the strength of their opponents, certainly not denying that. Millwall ahead in tonight's first leg. He's been talking about their threats.
Team effort, very high discipline, and I think what does the great job this season to be so till the last round, maybe direct promotion. You can reach direct promotion, it's unbelievable. Maybe these 2 points from they dropped from against Leicester But this is also showing how difficult this league is. It's, you know, Leicester is already relegated, and you go there, and then you're fighting. And this is also something what I like here. You have to preserve which teams will fight to land, and this is the honesty and fair play, which is also very, very important for this league, and I'm very glad that I'm part of this.
You mentioned about the one win for you, one win for them. Out of all the teams who played each other, you've actually got the best record and best results. So does that count for anything?
No, I know that. I know that this is just showing that we are capable to win these teams. So we already showed that we can play good football against them. I think that Southampton didn't lose game after our game away. So almost 3 months to Man City, I think. So this is also a great run for them. For the Tonta as well, he did a great job there. And there is Kim. Kim is also, like us, we had some difficult last 6 games, and they have also 7 games without winning. This is the reason why other teams catch them, and also showing how this league is very difficult. And but we will see. This is a completely new tournament now. This is regular season. Okay, we know we earned 12 points for these games, but this is completely something different. It's, I'm looking on this like Champions League players that I have experience from Dinamo, and you have to be tactically very, very wise in these 2 matches.
A lot's always made about where you finish in the 4 places, because if you're in the bottom half of it, it means you start at home, you have to go to the away leg in the second game. Do you see the benefits of starting at home and getting a strong start in the tie?
Okay, we will try everything to try to win the game, to at least that we have some advantage there. But there is no away goals, so you play home or away, you have to show that you are better team in 2 games, and that's it. So there is no other recipe. So no matter how we finish this first game, second game will decide everything.
Do you feel this is as even a tie as it could be, even though they finished high? Do you feel this? You go into this on a fairly even keel?
Well, I think already previous players show that no matter on which position you are, you can get promotion. Yeah. Last season, I think Sunderland finished 5th, and now they play Premier League. So this is completely different. There is no anything linked with regular season.
Yeah.
So completely different.
What approach do you want your players to take in this first?
Tactically good, happy with the ball, and enjoying football. To be brave, and we will try to use our support to our fans, and we will try to use our chances.
Do you see the way you managed to get in on the final day? Do you see that almost being a positive, because it will relax your players a little bit, because the expectation maybe wasn't there, and that can take some of that pressure off them and say, look, just go out, enjoy your football. We're here now, we've got a chance.
Yeah, I understand. Not a little bit, a lot is to play this, because you have 2 games. So still, if you are not so good in first game, you can fix some problems. But this last round, you don't have time anymore to fix anything.
Yeah.
And you must win the game. You must win the game, and still you don't know if you are in playoffs. And that was very huge pressure. And we showed there great mentality, especially we were 1-0 down. And that was maybe crucial moment when we closed immediately 1-1. And no, it will be completely different these 2 games.
You mentioned the support. How much of that support from Saturday do you want to see in this one?
Same again. They push us. Even we went down, they push us, support us all 90 plus minutes. And I'm very, very grateful for that. And at home away this season, they were fantastic.
That's Sergei Yakirovich talking about how he's approaching this game. The approach tonight is the flag bearers are lining either side of the tunnel. They're taking away the various different flags from the centre circle, and the kind of commemorative sponsors logo that greets the players as they do the handshakes at the start of the game is being up in the air. So that will be there for the fans to see both on the TV and here in the stadium. Craig Fahey, we just heard from Sergei Kiric there about treating the game in its isolation. It is a one-off game, it is almost a cup game. How did Phil Brown deal with you when you were in that 2008 squad? Did he have that mentality that the league's gone, whatever we did in the league, that's done?
Yeah, 100%. It was a two-game, obviously, series, if you put it that way. And give a good account of ourselves away from home, knowing that we were going to be back at home for the second leg. Bit different tonight, obviously, but again, good performance, put you on the front foot going away for the away leg. But obviously speaking to Steve Morrison, or you speaking to Steve Morrison then, he said in terms of the both teams, pretty similar, hard-working, and it's going to come down, I think, to a little bit of individual brilliance from someone in our team to go and win the game.
And don't forget, probably two of City's best performances this season have been against Millwall. They went down there just before Christmas. Millwall came flying out the blocks. I remember chatting to Carl Joseph afterwards, who got 2 goals there early on, to silence them, because that first 5 or 6 minutes, he described that as one of the craziest games of football in the first 5 minutes that he played in. They came out like they were pushing for a last-minute winner in stoppage time down at the Den, and City went on a 1-3-1. Fantastic. Even here, one of the best games they played, and they lose 3-1. What they didn't do was deal with Cooper. We knew going into it they're a big threat from set pieces, and they left Cooper to get a free header. If they can sort that out, that's a big part of keeping them quiet. I'm not saying it's the only way. You've got to keep Aziz quiet. He's going to be a massive threat for them. But City have done well in both games, so they need to take something from that as well.
And that was the issue with the game here earlier this year, Craig, was a couple of errors in that game which led to the defeat. Yeah, I know football is about data, it's about videos, it's analysis now, but will they have re-watched that game from back in February and looked at those pinch points in that game?
Yeah, 100%. If I was coaching the team today, that's one thing you'd be looking at. Obviously, you look at your mistakes, you look at how you can then hurt the opposition, and they'll be wanting to put that right tonight. They'll be wanting to make sure they don't make set play mistakes, lose markers, and put those things right.
Big video on the screen now is warming up the fans with archive clips of 2008 and 2016. There we are, we're watching Dean Henderson volley and the goal that sent them up on that day in May 2008. He probably just reappeared on the big screen after all of these years.
I would say I haven't seen that already a million times, because Dino likes to keep talking about it as well. So yeah, this is a great goal and a great ball by Fraser, to be fair. So yeah, great memories. It was a great day, and hopefully get back there and someone else can do something similar, so we don't have to keep talking about Dino's goal.
There's so much about that goal, actually, isn't there? I mean, yeah, Dino deservedly gets the credit because it's that kind of finish. And we heard Burnsy on the commentary from that game. It had to be him, didn't it? It was just that kind of moment. Yeah, but as you said, the picking the ball up in the midfield, the movement, Fraser taking that little move out and then the little check back in, and that ball has to be absolutely spot on, doesn't it?
And as well, we were under a little bit of pressure in that game, and that sums up the team which we have now from my point of view. Breaking, counter-attacking, Fraser showing that little bit of quality once he got into the final third to obviously hit Dino for the finish which he did. So for me, the teams are similar. It will be similar the way they play. We don't have to have the ball all the time, and we will still be a threat.
Big Delhi had a chance early on, haven't they?
Exactly that. Exactly. So it was an open game. They had more chances than us, I would say, but we took the one that really mattered.
And tonight is one of those games when it will really matter. We are less than 10 minutes from kick-off here at the MKM Stadium. The lights are on, the music's pumping, the flames are about to appear in the sky as well. A special night here at the MKM Stadium. It will be the same at Millwall Park on Sunday for Grimsby Town, but today it's the clash of the Predators in the Championship Players semi-final as Hull City host Millwall. And the Tigers get a repeat of the victory which they enjoyed in December at the Lions' Den.
Nipping around the right-hand side. Can he get a cross in? Drives one in towards Joseph, and Joseph has made amends within seconds. Bloomy and Joseph linking up. Bloomy the provider on it, and a lovely little left-footed guided ball from Joseph. Joseph, who's played into the area, and City lead at the Den.
Crazy start. I think we were under it for a bit, the first 5-10 minutes, and then obviously we got the 2 quick goals.
Ajimetovic plays Miller into the area. Left-hand side drives one in, and there's a second! And Kyle Joseph doubled the lead. He's doubled his own tally for the afternoon as well. And City, all of a sudden, there's the response to the early Millwall pressure. But City lead here at Millwall by 2-0.
These are the days that we live for. These are the days when big players turn up, big games, big players turn up. These men that you're in the dressing room, you really, I'm happy going to war with them every day of the week.
Oh, with the curl crossing in towards McBurney! That will seal it! McBurney's back, and City will go home with 3 points tonight. An early Christmas present in South London. City have punished the Lions in the Den, and they'll go home victorious. Millwall 1, Hull City 3.
We are capable to win these games, so we already showed that we can play good football against them. So we will try everything to try to win the game, to at least that we have some advantage. That you play home or away, you have to show that you are better to win this game.
Just to rouse you listening to BBC Radio Humberside tonight, as we are 5 minutes from kick-off. Whether you are nervous, excited, nervited, and a bit of both, now is the time. The follow-up game on Monday night is, of course, at the New Den, but right now, the action is right here at the MKM Stadium.
Every game live. BBC Radio Humberside Sports.
We even have fireworks tonight. Let's hope there's fireworks on the pitch between now and 10 o'clock this evening. Can Hull City go one stage to getting to Wembley once again? This club has a proud tradition of playoff success, particularly in the Championship. 3 games stand between the Tigers and the Premier League, but right now standing in front of all of that is Millwall. Let's bring you commentary from someone who knows a thing or two about the playoffs. Craig Fagan and Mike White.
Thanks, James. Thanks, everyone. Welcome to BBC Radio Humberside's playoff coverage of the Tigers against Millwall. A 4th playoff appearance for the Tigers, 3rd time in the Championship. It's been lucky for them before. Of course, victories in 2008, as the man alongside me knows all too well, and in 2016, but it's 10 years since City were in this position. It's too long between drinks. They got off to a flying start in that first leg against Derby that year. 3-0 in the first leg. That was away, of course. What they would give for a start like that in the first leg this evening. Craig Fagan, great to have you with us.
Yeah, atmosphere is electric, or should I say, goosebumps on my skin. I want to be out there. Honestly, I'm looking forward to this game. A great opportunity again, being at home first, to put our claim down to go and win the tie. Both legs, obviously, but excited for the game.
Millwall fans are up through, we've been hearing them, and they've been singing their usual song, No One Likes Us, We Don't Care. I said to the fans I spoke to earlier, I think some City fans have adopted that this time, because everyone's talking about Southampton, Millwall, how well they've done, Middlesbrough, that kind of resurgence to make sure they stayed in the playoffs. And then Wrexham still getting talked about. City fans are feeling there's a little bit of a chip on the shoulder, I think.
Yeah, well, that's nothing new for when I used to play here. Yeah. We weren't the most loved club, I'll be honest. And listen, both teams are similar in terms of that. We've earned the right to be in the playoffs, so not everybody's favourites, but let's go with it.
But there's some people maybe just joining us. If you are, why? We've been on since 6 o'clock, quick build up to this one, but thanks for being with us. If you are just joining us, let's just get a thought from you, Craig Fagan. It's gone unchanged on that side that won last Saturday. Is that the right call?
I believe so. Positive performance. I think it's pretty solid in terms of defensively. But with the attacking players that we've got, like I said, Gerhardt, McBurney, we pose a threat. And again, comfortable without being in possession all the time, should I say. And we can counter-attack. Similar to them, they play pretty similar. It's not going to be a game of ultra possession. It's going to be about getting in the final third and putting your claim down and being the first one to score. I think that'll make a massive difference.
So it is the team in amber and black as Elvis hits the tannoy. The fans join in as well. This is some atmosphere. This is what you want. These another notch as well. It's City in the playoffs, Millwall the visitors in the first leg. It's the first game to kick all of the EFL playoffs off as well. What a way to do it here. The fans in good voice, they'll need that to drive this team on over this first 90 minutes. It won't all be won or lost, certainly you hope not, in terms of one way or the other. But it just could be another special night here at the MKM Stadium. It'll be Millwall that get us underway in this first half. They will defend the goal to our right as we look at it, the south stand end to attacking right to left. And Millwall will get us started in their away kit. That's up with dirty white shirt, shorts and socks. City defending the north stand goal in this first half as we look at it high at the top of the west stand here, and we're underway, and a long ball forward is headed out by City for a Millwall throwing on that right hand side. Ryan Leonard, who's got plenty of playoff experience, former Southend man, and he's going to take this throw. Remember, they are dangerous from set pieces. Corners are going to be, and free kicks will be a threat, but this free throwing comes in long with a low trajectory as well, and City get ahead on it and head away for an early Millwall corner just 30 seconds in. Craig Fagan.
Again, that's what it's going to be about, set plays. Leonard I know well, he was at Southend when I was there coaching under 23s, so he's definitely got a long throw and he's a threat. So early corner.
6 playoff games he's played for Southend, Ryan Leonard. Here's the corner from the right hand side, a left-footed curler, and not a surprise, McBurney will say that a lot. Heads that one clear from the City penalty area, comes back out to this right hand side though. Coyle shows the ball in, and the ball into the box. Coyle was defending it over on that far side. It was whipped in dangerously, but Panda was able to get there just a minute in. City ball 0-0 in the first leg of the Championship playoffs. Live on BBC Radio Humberside as Pando sends that one away up towards Miller, and he'll get control of it. That heels it down that left hand side to Balumi, driving into the box on the left side of the area. Cuts onto his right foot, back onto his left, back onto his right. Balumi! Oh, and he's put it wide and over. From that range, it was a tight one, but you're just waiting for the back of the net to bulge, and somehow Balumi hasn't given City the perfect start. Tigers 0, Millwall 0.
Oh, a great view from up here, but I don't know how he's missed that. He's done so well. Excellent footwork from Miller to start off with, and then I just don't know how he's managed to miss the target there. Great move, great counter attack, and I think that's what the game's going to be about.
Amazing run, wasn't it? It caught the Millwall defence out. I'm just waiting for that net to ripple. I know it was a tight angle, but I'd love to see a replay.
Yeah, we've got a great view from here, but not close enough to see what happened. I thought it came off a defender, but he must have just missed obviously the net completely.
I was waiting for the corner to be gestured for that reason. It was the only logical explanation for it not hitting the goal, wasn't it? But anyway, what a start. And a lovely bit of control, as you said as well, from Liam Miller to begin with. City trying to get forward again. A long direct ball from Egan down that right side. It's headed back away and then picked up by Denor. Then Egan will play it away up towards Balumi. A little flick on, and had that not been touched by Millwall man, McBurney was maybe in there. It was Cooper who tried to get it. He's a big unit of a centre half, is Jake Cooper. As that ball is put out for a City throw-in, round about halfway. And it is a Tigers ball who've got an unchanged starting 11 from the side. It's an unchanged squad. In fact, Panda in goal, Coyle, Egan, Hughes and Giles the back four. Slater and Crooks the two in the middle. Balumi, Gelhardt and Miller supporting Ollie McBurney. Not a bad attacking four, that is it. McBurney with his 2 goals on Saturday to lead City into the playoffs. His 99th and 100th goals of his career as Egan gets the foot in there. Back in the side, nearly the ball running loose with Gelhardt there. It's Egan who had to come off at half-time, suffering with a bit of vision problems, Sergei Akirovich was saying a couple of times now for John Egan, but fine tonight, experienced campaigner as well, and he slips a ball to Coyle, who wanted Balumi to come short for him, and the ball from Coyle ends up getting intercepted, and now Sturge will break away, they'll skip into City territory. A little foot in there from Egan, his touch on the player rather than the ball. That'll be a free kick to Millwall, 15 yards inside the City half. Nearly 4 minutes gone, 0-0.
Yeah, you can see it's a little bit cagey to start off with, you know, they're not keeping possession well, both teams, which I said would happen. But even set plays, you can see they're taking the time, no one's taking it quickly, they're making sure they're all set up, because no one wants to make a mistake early and give the ball away to lead to a goal.
Free kick to Millwall. I'll give you their side in a second. It's going to be Zach Sturge, the former Brighton Chelsea youngster, floats it across towards that right side. Matt Crooks with a header away. Puts it out for a Millwall throwing. Trees the shout from the City fans in that north stand behind Eva Panda's goal. He's in all purple, just perched on the edge of his 6-yard box. This is going to be another Leonard long throw. Had that low trajectory on it the last time, and it drills it into the box. Another's trying to be a bit of a shield for it. And Leonard will step up, gets a bit more of an arc on it this time. Headed away by Egan, but the referee spotted a foul. Ollie McBurney is down, and I think we're going to be talking about him a lot, not just because of what he does attacking-wise, but getting defensively as well.
Defensively, he helps out massively. Obviously, he loves the ball in the air, he can compete, but he's clever as well. Like that situation, gets himself in the way, so the attacking player has to foul him. So he does both boxes very well for Hull City.
The ultimate nuisance, isn't he?
Well, in a good way. In a good way. Him and Crooks, obviously, the aerial ability helps massively.
Free kick in the City penalty area, then taken away by Eva Panda, who sends that one away. First experience of the playoffs, of course, for him, as Coyle can't stop that one from going out. Eva Panda playing his 90th game for the Tigers this evening. This will be a throw-in for Millwall, they made 2 changes from the side that beat Oxford on the final day, with Mazu Sacco and Coburn coming into the side. Bannon and Ivanovic, the 2 players to drop out. That's going to be another throw into Millwall, midway inside the Tigers' half. Millwall side then, Patterson in goal, Leonard, Kramer, Cooper and Sturge the back 4. The 2 midfielders of Denor and Mazu Sacco. Aziz, Negley and Ballo supporting Coburn up front. Give me the 2 benches shortly, but Sturge has got this throw in, which he's going to take. Sends it in on an angled throw into the box. Denor tries to knock it down. City defend it once, comes back out to Sturge though, and Bellumi battling with him. Good work from Bellumi to put him off once, and then it'll run out for a Millwall throw-in. Ballo just lets that one go out. Bellumi's going to have to do that. He's going to have to be that support for Louis Coyle tonight.
He has to give that defensive support and help out, double up, because they are pretty prominent in the wide area. So yeah, that's needed from him.
Sturge is going to take this throw. He doesn't have much room because the advertising board in. So bends his run again. It's McBurney who plays it with a header, and Galhart unceremoniously but effectively thumps that one downfield, and it'll just be headed back by Ryan Leonard towards the keeper Anthony Patterson, who's played in the playoffs 8 times, 5 in the Championship, 1 last season with them. He's on loan from Sunderland. As that ball's sent downfield, Coburn tussling away. Good battle there. It's going to be happening with him and John Egan and Charlie Hughes as well. Coburn, who often gets referred to as Lamppost. Originally it was a bit of a derogatory term from the Millwall fans, but they started to appreciate him, the former Sunderland and Middlesbrough youngster. And, again, another one, a towering player, isn't it?
And it's just the way they play. They need that height up there, that physical stature up there. So similar to us with McBurney, someone to play off.
Alex Neil's done a good job with this Millwall side. Finished 3rd in the end in the Championship, just missing out on automatic with Ipswich. A very good side, and going up automatically in the end. As Giles plays one forward, trying to pick out McBurney, but it was intercepted by Kramer. Comes up the Tigers man, goes out for a Millwall throwing 15 yards inside that City half, over on that far side from us. The Millwall right in this first half in front of the East Stand. The City bench, Dylan Phillips is the sub-keeper. John Lundstrom, Shemi Ajayi, Yuki Rakawa, Carl Joseph, Darko JB, Kieran Dowell, Lewis Kumas and Paddy McNair. A bit of playoff experience on that bench as well. It's Mazu Sacco, works in infield to Denore, just peels away and then finds Leonard on that right side and goes back towards Kramer. Comes across to Cooper and just inside the centre circle in his own half, and he turns away with frustration because he knows that ball forward wasn't a good one. Runs all the way through and out for a City goal kick. Their bench, Max Grokham, who's again got playoff experience with one of our other teams, Grimsby Town. He was part of that incredible run back in 2022 when the Mariners beat Notts County. They beat Wrexham as well, and then of course Solihull Moors in the final at the London Stadium. He's on the bench. Danny McNamara, Billy Mitchell, Mihajlo Ivanovic, Alfie Doughty, Macaulay Langstaff, Tommy Watson, Luke Cundle and Barry Bannon. As Panda will send that one downfield. Cooper's in there again. He he's going to get on the end of everything when it comes in like that, isn't he?
Yeah, he's a big unit against McBurney. I'm just wondering why the advertising boards are only this side and not the other side where Leonard is, because obviously he's got a long throw that side, but something that you haven't noticed and thought about yourself. As a coach, that's something that stuck out massive for me.
Yeah, no, absolutely, because the ones at this side are the sort of the movable ones, aren't they? They haven't got any other that side. It's just literally the barrier.
Should have been clever and put some that side.
I agree. Good spot, you see. That's why you're a manager. That's why you're a manager now. Coyle with a throw down the right touch line. A couple of shouts from City fans. Sure, if they thought there was a hand in there with that one, as Patterson will play that one away. Hughes tried to step in front and then actually did manage to get the better of Coburn. It's going to come back in, and the two of them again battling away. Referee says nothing wrong with that. Hughes has to get back on his feet, and Gelhardt breaks it up, and Miller can pick it up. We need to see the Miller that we've seen in recent weeks, that energy and dynamism that he's got. He's finally found it again. It's taken him a while. He obviously had that ACL injury and then the hamstring problem as well, but we're starting to see the Liam Miller that we know we can.
It takes time after injury, obviously. When you're injured, it takes a good while to get yourself back up to fitness, a bit of confidence in the injury and get yourself playing. But this start of the game so far, I think Regan, Slater and Crooks need to get a little bit more of a grip of the midfield, get a grip of the ball, and then we can have a bit more possession, have more control in the game.
Yeah, because they're going to mop these up all day long, aren't they? These long balls in towards Cooper, he's going to have them for breakfast.
So far, Millwall have done it better to start the game. Listen, we're only 10 minutes in, so it's an early start, but now they've got to try and get a grip of the game. We're at home, got to be on the front foot a little bit more.
Alex Neil and Sergei Kirovich having words with the fourth official down there. It was David Webb. Ball played away there by Cooper. Almost hit the face of Mo Ballooney. Goes out for a Millwall throw-in, which Zach Sturge will take. Just wipes a bit of moisture off. It's a pleasant night, but there'll be water in the pitch beforehand, which is in cracking condition, has to be said. Kind of surface that Sergei Kirovich wants for his side.
It's definitely better from when I used to play it. That's 100%.
Yeah, it's had these tough spells. It's not always been perfect. Now the rugby gets blamed, but over the winter it wasn't ideal. As here's Kramer, steps forward, works one down that right side towards Leonard, cut out by Giles. He can be a big player in the big moment, Ryan Giles as well. Need to see his kind of quality deliveries that he can get in him, and Ollie McBurney certainly early in the season. And Giles was missing with injury, those two hamstring problems that he's had. You can see Ollie McBurney just dried up a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. Obviously, crosses coming in the box affected a bit of link-up play they have. Another one that was missed again for injury.
Millwall with the ball in their own half at the moment. Azu Sako's just gone deep for it. He's going to be the one that's just going to try and dictate everything. As he come deep, pick up those balls, get things moving for Millwall.
Exactly.
As Crooks goes up with a leaping header, flies over the top of a Millwall man, and now it might run loose here. Maybe a chance for a shot from range, and it's going to be dragged wide by Ballo. And out for a goal kick. 12.5 minutes gone. What's standing out for you at the moment?
It's just a bit cagey again. Playoff semi-finals it is. Haven't really, both teams haven't had a lot of possession. It's kind of been getting forward to the attacking players, but then the midfield haven't really landed on it to keep possession in the opposition's half. Like I said, 12 minutes in, no real possession yet, but I'm sure, well, I'm hoping we get a grip of the game a little bit more and create some more chances.
It's been 38 years since Millwall played in the top flight of English football. It wasn't the Premier League back then, the old First Division. They'd love to get themselves back up there. They would be the... You can imagine there'd be a bit of snobbery around the Premier League if they were to invade it. And we hope it doesn't happen. But
obviously for us, we want to go up ourselves. But I'm sure majority of the Premier League clubs wouldn't know what hit them if Millwall ended as a Premier League club.
Certainly not. They've got to throw in down their right side. About 30 yards out, defended and fired away by City. McBurney, a bit of a tussle there with Kramer as Cooper will work it back. McBurney will close down Patterson, who doesn't wait around and gets that one away downfield with the right foot. Hughes comes across to help out Egan, knocks it into Coyle. It's going to come back in towards Coburn, and Egan just gets a foot in, comes out, shot's going to come in from range zone. It's dragged wide. An opportunity to at least try and test Eva Panda, but from that kind of range, Premier Aziz was always being speculative at best, wasn't it?
Yeah, again, listen, it's a chance from a long distance, but however, Millwall at the moment are picking up the second balls. It's not going to be a game of possession as we've seen so far. but it's going into the big man, and their midfielders are picking up and getting chances and playing into their wide players. We need to do a little bit better than what we've done so far.
As you said, Crooks and Slater have been non-factors so far in the game.
Yeah, so far, yeah, they haven't been able to have an impact yet, but I'm sure they will do.
Yeah, McBurney does great work there and shields that as it comes forward to him, goes down, wants a foul, looks at the referee, doesn't look back. And that one's played away. It's Gavin Ward of Surrey, who actually was the official for City's win at the Den back in December, that 3-1 victory. The Millwall fans were best pleased because Femi Aziz was sent off for stamping on Carl Joseph in that game. So a few Lions fans complaining on social media this week that it's his 4th City game this season. So the loss of Bristol City earlier in the season and the win against Sheffield United here. Experienced referee. Millwall have themselves a throw-in as we hit 15 minutes already. As Craig Fagan alongside me has been saying City just need to try and get a bit more of a foothold in this game at the moment. It's been Millwall's. That goes out for a Tigers throw-in at halfway. Yorkshire, the chant from the City fans at that north stand end towards their Millwall counterparts who aren't positioned too far away. There's literally a couple of fences dividing the City fans over there from the travelling Millwall support. Hayes McBurney gets on the ball, flicks it into Gelhardt, who just didn't really have the space or time to think about that. It's played away by Millwall though, put out for a throw-in. This right-hand side. And you're listening to BBC Radio Humberside Sport, live on this Friday night at the MKM Stadium. First leg of the Championship playoffs. It's kicking the playoffs off as far as the whole EFL schedule, as Balloomy's going to send this ball in. That's headed clear by Millwall. Ballo can't do anything other than get a touch of his forehead on it, and it goes to Coyle. Now out to that right side to Miller. He manages to get that one away from Aziz. Then played to Giles. Giles left hand side, cross into McBurney with a touch, and it'll go across the space of the 6-yard box. And just a clearance enough to get it out of the box by Millwall, but it runs to Baloomy, who cuts on his left foot. Baloomy with a shot, curls in here. The keeper made a mistake there. That was a problem, but he got behind it. And Patterson collects it, and it remains City 0 Millwall now.
Excellent play by Miller. A bit of trickery on the left-hand side, cutting, and then obviously the cross, McBurney getting across the front post. Just needed someone else coming in the back post to tap that in, but good opportunity.
Because Leonard could play, but he's not going to be the most mobile, is he?
No.
Leonard
is not the most mobile, but what he will do, he'll compete, he'll run forward. Obviously, he's got a long throw, but if Miller can get him in 1v1 situations, that's an opening for us.
That's the one you want, isn't it? Here can Miller at the other end, though. No opening, but trying to create one. Cross comes in from the right, maybe an opportunity, ball going to drop, and it's just going to roll out to this left-hand side. Held up, and then played back to Mazu Sakho. Then laid all the way back to halfway. Cooper. And a really imposing figure for the two centre-halves for the Lions. Mazu Sakho again rolls it away to Kramer on that right. He just dances away from McBurney, plays it up.
It's that bit that we just need to get a little bit better at.
Yeah. Just not able to get a foot in at the moment.
So we win the ball back and then give it away straight away, which I know is hard, it's cagey, but it gives us an opportunity then to counter-attack that first pass.
And Millwall again. Slipped in towards Casper Dugnall. Slater goes down, hits one on the ankle, but City going to break away. Here's McBurney into Gelhardt, edge of the area, onto his left foot. Gets his ankle clipped there, but seems to slip more than anything. City fans claiming it. Liam Miller is gesturing, but I think he's gesturing maybe for the ball to be out.
He chose the wrong pass, but Bernie again. I've just mentioned it about completing that first pass, to win the ball back, complete the first pass, but Bernie turns on a counter attack and then just picked the wrong pass.
And here come Millwall again at the other end, and that was left there by Ballo as Coburn played a ball into the box. Wrong decision from the Millwall man, but then again, cross comes back in towards Coburn. Sturge was running in from deep in that left back position, running into the edge of the City box, and now City trying to get away again with Crooks. Tigers fans urging their side to try and get this one away. Something just needs to stick for the Tigers at the moment as he's played up towards McBurney, comes off his head and laid back to Patterson. That's a wild clearance from the Millwall keeper. Well, they managed to keep possession. It's Negri. Cross to Kramer, and there's the Tigers fans in full voice again. What an atmosphere here tonight in the first leg of the Championship playoffs. Hull City 0, Millwall 0. and it's live here on BBC Radio Humberside.
I did mention it earlier, obviously, before the game started. It's the players' responsibility to get the fans up as well, and obviously with that chance there, you can hear them getting behind the players now again.
Here come Millwall forward again. Ball slipped into the area. That should be offside. Coburn was. Good yard or two there. And the flag goes up on that far side.
Just going back to that McBurney chance, again, I just think he picked the wrong side. He should have gone to Miller left, on the left-hand side. Picked Gelhardt, and he obviously slipped when he cut in. He wasn't tackled, he slipped. He thought their player was going to dive in a little bit more than he did. He took a gamble and he slipped. So good opportunity there on the counter-attack.
Because they committed, haven't they? They've come across, and that opened up the opportunity.
They've committed more players than they had done previously in any of their attacks. So that's something we need to do. We need to get more players forward at times. When we're out of possession, you can see it's 4-4-1-1, and then we do go a little bit longer into McBurney, and there's not that much support around him at times. We need to try and get a little bit closer if possible.
20 minutes gone. BBC Radio Humberside. It's still goalless as City have a man down, but need to get up quickly to Hughes as Millwall have the ball again inside the Tigers' half. Coburn comes deep for it. And slips it to Mazusako, who's a French youth, trained in the summer. City nearly got away there with Slater, but then do win it back with Coyle, and he can play to Balumi, and they've not come across the defence, so Balumi's got a chance to run towards the angle of the area. Looked to cut in on his left foot, not the best of movements from him, as Osaka had it read, and Balumi is dispossessed, and Millwall will come away with it. Decision making there not quite where it needed to be, as Millwall have it at the other end. It's Coburn. It's hooked and pulled by Egan, shrugs him off and plays it away to his teammate Cooper. Comes back to Cooper from Casper Denor. It's sent downfield. Cooper once more. Coyle's tracking back, chasing this one. Needed to be careful. He's got a foot in and a shot on the left foot there. Has that been deflected? It has. It was Aziz with the left foot up and deflected for a corner.
I was worried then. I thought Louis was going to give away a penalty then. He didn't see the centre forward coming across, so that could have been dangerous for us. But another corner, again, a chance for Millwall with the threat of their height and set plays. This is a dangerous, because I think this is where they're going to create their chances. I think Millwall haven't seen too much without their set plays so far in the game. I think this is, as we know, this is what they look for.
It is, and it's going to be Aziz that will take it. Their leading scorer, left side in front of the north stand, curls it in, movement in and around the box, but City had that one clear, only as far as Negley, and across to Mazusako, out to that right side. Leonard holds the ball up, trying to get around the outside of Hughes, who stands firm, puts a left foot in the way, and it goes out for a throw in, which Millwall will take. They'll happily accept that one. Remember when you used to play Stoke, you'd rather concede a corner than giving a throw and be outroared.
Times have changed now. Even Arsenal are doing long throws, considering how they used to moan about Stoke. So long throws is now the new in thing.
Exactly. Yeah, they moaned about a lot, though, didn't they, with their Arsenal? As Millwall have this throw. And 12 yards out from that right corner flag, Leonard steps up, kind of slips out with his hands there, and he bounces around, little foot in, and it's wide and out for a goal kick. City, I mentioned earlier on, it's the 4th time in the EFL playoffs, 3 times in the Championship. They played in the old, the 3rd division as it was called, the old Division 4 as we knew it, League 2 these days. Lost that to Leyton Orient over 2 legs. Johnny Eyre, who's the kit man here at the club, now gave City a 1-0 lead in the first leg. They went down to Brisbane Road, and unfortunately losing 2-0 that day. Orient went on to play Blackpool. City had to wait a long time after that, another 7 years before making the playoffs. But what a season that was. As we've said repeatedly, that man alongside me knows very well. Ball out for a Millwall throw-in in front of the east stand. The floodlights are on, but it's still a really pleasant night. No evening sky yet in Westhall. And we've passed the halfway mark already. 23.5 minutes gone. And you're listening to BBC Radio Humberside. The Tigers 0, Millwall 0. Out for another Millwall throw-in in front of their fans who've travelled well. A sell-out here, as it will be at the Den on Monday night. Myself, James Hogarth and Phil Brown will be alongside us for commentary of that one. Swanee's enjoying the sunshine of his belated honeymoon. We'll be back with us for, fingers crossed, a little trip to North London for a Wembley final. Lot to do yet though, and City have got some work to do in this first leg to get Millwall out of the reckoning. Ball in the 6-yard box, so City have got to clear this one and do with Coyle. Sent away, long downfield. Balumi wants a free kick. Gavin Ward's letting a lot go at the moment, Craig.
Yeah, he's trying to let the game flow, but there has been some niggly little free kicks. I think that one is a free kick, he is holding it, but he's just keep the game flowing. But at times, you need to give free kicks.
Yeah, just to kind of put your mark on
exactly,
it.
Exactly. And he's just letting people get away with things they don't need to be.
Yeah, that one for me should have been. Here come Millwall again with Aziz. He'll sweep it across low towards this left side to Sturge, who's in advanced positions near the angle of the box, flicks it off to Ballo. Ballo plays it into the area. Swing and a miss there from Aziz. And it's played away by Miller and out for another throw-in. Millwall starting to build the pressure here 25 minutes in.
Yeah, that was a chance. I think any good clean contact is getting that on target. It was kind of like a cutback instead of a crossing behind our back line. A good opportunity missed for Millwall. Lucky for us.
Wasn't Aziz with 11 goals this season, right? Fancied him, but thankfully a swing and a miss. Leonard again with another opportunity. This one about 18 yards out. Miller trying to be some kind of human shield to put him off a bit. Goes up in the air, slips out his hands a little bit, headed into the box. Overhead kick attempted. Ball bouncing around, still not cleared yet. Should be Pandas to get. And it is. And it goes for the quick restart. Rolls it out over on cricket style towards Coyle. Gelhardt faces up at halfway, looks to try and slip it through. I think he got a little touch from a Millwall player there.
Yeah, just took a little bit too long. Just took a little bit too long is his decision there. I think the slide ball was on down the side for Balumi. Yeah, that was the one that was on.
Yeah, McBurney wasn't in the position Gelhardt wanted him to be when he played that ball, was he?
No.
It looks a bit edgy from City at the moment.
Yeah, is it a bit of nerves maybe? I don't know. They deserve to be here. So give it a good go, lads.
Balumi again looking for a free kick. I'm not sure on that one. I think he was stumbling more than not. But at the moment, it's getting to that point where they feel they want something that they're not.
Any kind of contact now, I think they're searching for free kicks. That definitely wasn't one. No, but the one before was.
Was headed away by Giles. Should run for Gelhardt. Can he play an early ball for Balumi? Instead, he'll go square to Coyle, who can sprint forward, then turns it back inside to Crooks. He's got a bit of time and space to think about it. Slater's showing some support. Comes back out to this right touchline to Coyle, who just plays it behind to Crooks. Down the line to Balumi, just in that right channel. Turns it back in field to Crooks, who's got a bit of space once more. He's looking for an option, and he finds it with Giles. Ooh, just a bit of, kind of slowed up on the surface there, but he eventually is able to get it to Miller. Miller drives towards the goal line, then turns back. Giles hangs across high towards the back, comes in towards Patterson, and he will collect it. 27 minutes in 0-0.
Yeah, again, for me, Miller looks the brightest out of everybody. He looks as if the evening's not too much for him. He wants to show what he can do. Get him the ball as soon as possible, in my opinion, so far. Out of everybody, he looks the most confident.
He does. First experience for him in the playoffs as well. Liam Miller. So 45th career game. He's 49th in a City shirt, so all being well, his half-century for the Tigers will come on Monday night. We'll be there as well. Commentary, that one. Build-up will begin from 6 o'clock. Lots to go in this one yet, as we're nearly 28 minutes into the first half of the first leg. But it's still goalless. Coyle inside the Millwall half. Balumi into McBurney. Outside the box. Plays a little through ball, but too far ahead from Miller, who made a nice little run.
Yeah.
But just too much on it from McBurney. And out for a Millwall goal.
Yeah, outside to inside run there. That's the first bit of possession that I was speaking about. Crooks obviously got the ball Slater, got on the ball a little bit more. A bit more movement, created an opportunity. Again, the first bit of the game, like I said, was always going to be a little bit cagey. Once we start getting our foot on it, showing a bit more confidence, chances will come.
What they have managed to do in this last few minutes, as far as possession,
get more control, land on the ball better than their midfielders. Tidy up the longer balls which Millwall are playing.
Dean Holden just having a word with the fourth official down now. Rather imagine that's something along the lines of, are we going to get a free kick at some point?
Yeah, exactly that. And they're just touching on Dean Holden. I mentioned him before the game. He's a good coach, and he helps the manager. He understands the league. He's managed this in England before, and I think that helps the manager. Obviously, coming into the English game and the job here in the Championship. It's a difficult league, and sometimes it goes unnoticed, the work that Dean does.
I know how highly thought of he is within the club. As that ball from the City throw-in is defended by Millwall, played away. A real tussle there between Hughes and Coburn. That comes off Coburn last. That is going to be a battle for the two centre-halves all through the game, that, isn't it? And you can see why they brought him back in.
He reminds me of he won't mind me saying it, a slimmer John Parkin, if I'm honest.
A very slimmer John Parkin. But no, I get what you mean. A nuisance, a real
physical handful. The defenders, it attracts an extra defender at times. But yeah, he does hold on to the ball well for him. It gives him a good platform to play off.
That's the Millwall fans you can hear at the moment, but the City supporters giving us good back as well. Coyle will take his throw in. Alex Neil just looks on the Millwall manager. Coyle steps in front of him as he plays that throw in away. Drops to the feet of McBurney, but then Millwall get the ball back. Sent down the left side by Ballo. Egan launches it away. Now we'll run through to Anthony Patterson. And his 15th time for Millwall. They replace Max Crookham in the Millwall goal. We're past the half-an-hour mark. And again, there is some atmosphere here on a playoff night for the first time in 10 years. Oh, Cooper with a little slip there, just manages to recover on this near left-hand side.
He got away with that one then, didn't he?
Thankfully, McBurney was, from his point of view, McBurney was on his backside, because if not, there was a chance to nip in there. Millwall have worked it off to that far right side. Turned behind, Casper de Noor comes in, just pick it up from deep. Played in the Belgian playoffs, but not in the English version. Casper de Noor, 29-year-old, from a Belgian youngster. Here's de Noor again, trapped by Slater. Fresh off his double awards, Players' Player and Supporters Player of the Year for Regan Slater. What a season he's had as Coburn gets the ball away. Might fancy a shot from range on the left foot. It's hit the heels of a City player and rolls out for a corner. And again, that's where his strength, his physical presence plays a real benefit for him.
Hitting the centre halves, either sliding his wide players in or being able to get an opportunity himself.
Corner to Millwall, which Aziz
This is the fourth corner, is this right?
Yeah, I think it is, yeah. Fourth one. Aziz, who was at Wealdstone when they got to the National League South playoffs in 2019, didn't play in that though. He's in the action now, so he'll send this corner in towards the back, headed in towards goal, but the referee had already spotted an infringement. Two City players down, Slater and Egan. And the referee says it's a free kick. Well, City are going to have to do something that not many teams have done, because the sixth-place side in the Championship hasn't won promotion to the Premier League since Blackpool did it, that incredible story back in 2010. You look at the spirit this City side have got, this could be the team that could be the one to break that run. But it's always a challenge, isn't it, when you're looking at the teams that have been... At the moment, everyone's saying, oh, Southampton, they're the team. Although there's a bit of controversy around them at the moment.
Yeah, exactly. But listen, the way the group is, never say die attitude, who's to say they can't go on and win the whole thing? It's important. I've mentioned it before. The team work ethic, the morale, and the way they've got into the playoffs, there's just something special about it for me. I think they can go and do it.
There's plenty of playoff experience in this City side. 25 playoff appearances in total amongst this squad, 19 on the Millwall side. As City get themselves a free kick. There's the ironic cheers from the Tigers fans just in front of the two technical areas. Coyle was just having his shirt pulled a little bit too much. Alex Neil has been told to move back by the fourth official. It's just a constant game of mind chess down there, isn't it, between the managers and the coaches with the fourth officials?
You know what? As much as they say you can't influence the referee, but the manager on a technical area with the fourth official, once you are in his ear, you can get him some, not to change his mind, but to get him to see different free kicks at times.
Yeah. Oh, Cooper's knocked off the ball there. Crooks into McBurney, tries to get it through to Miller. Miller will get on the loose ball. Got Giles in support. Giles, ball slipped through to him near the goal line and gets the cross in. The keeper pounces on it. That was a half chance to create something. A mistake by Cooper.
Yeah, excellent ball again. I just think McBurney he couldn't put the pace on the ball to get to Miller, but then a good slide pass by Miller. Just couldn't get the cross in for someone to be in central of the box. The keeper picked it up easy.
And it might just take a moment like that.
Exactly.
Something to just
exactly that.
City certainly managed to quieten Millwall down a bit, though, haven't they?
Yeah, they started off better than we did, I'll be honest.
Yeah.
And we've grown into the game and created some more chances.
Miller caught the wrong side of Leonard there, who's managed to get away from the Canadian international. But Crooks comes to help. What's Crooks looking at there? He's just checking his right leg. He's got a bit of a limp on him. I'm not sure if he's just taken a kick to his right leg. There was a couple of challenges flying in earlier, wasn't there? He's just going to be checked on, I think, by the referee. Just having a look at it. He's definitely holding his right leg, isn't he? Because he's pulled his shorts.
I'm not sure why. I don't think it's a. I think it was either a kick. I don't think it's a muscle injury as such. I think it was a kick.
There was a worry about Matt Crooks before the game on Saturday when he was being treated. It turns out in the warm-ups, a teammate had drilled a ball across and he got whacked in the head. He had to have a head test before the game. Hopefully, came to nothing. Millwall take that throw-in. They'll bounce into Denor. Denor with the shot. Hits the stanchion. Out for a goal kick. 35 minutes into the game here. We're still waiting for our first goal. Hull City 0, Millwall 0. Craig Fagan alongside.
Good opportunity they've had Millwall in terms of the chances they create from the throw-ins and set plays. They haven't been able to catch one clean yet. I hope that continues because they're getting in some good areas in the 18-yard box.
Referee wants Eva Panda to get on with it. Feels even 35 minutes in, there's a bit of time wasting going on. As City haven't really been great at home recently. Won just 4 of the last 11 in the league at home since the start of the year, but an important victory last week when it was needed. Slater can't control that ball. He'll run loose as Denor gets it back for Millwall. Then played back in towards the Belgian. Got some space to try and drill a ball forward, but that's a wayward one from him. Not a good pass. And goes out for a City goal kick. Millwall finished 10 points ahead of the Tigers on 83 points. For weeks leading up to it, I think a lot of people were looking and saying, what points is it going to take? And it was. A lot of people were saying 73. And that's what City needed in the end with those 21 wins, 10 draws. As Coyle is fouled at halfway, and another free kick is given. It was Ballo, the Austrian.
Yeah, so what the manager will be saying is, like we were saying about the free kicks, that's probably his 3rd one. He's not giving him 2, so that could have been a bucket already.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, they've got the free kick anyway. So Dave Kirich emerges from his dugout. Dean Holden out there as well. And Egan will take his free kick. 4 times he's been involved in the playoffs. John Egan is going to send this one crossfield up towards McBurney. He takes a head touch off the head of Kramer. Aziz will get there, then fed through to Denor, who tries to get it away. Aziz will just launch it up towards Coburn, who cushions it into his midsection and then can face up, and he's got some support. It's with Denor. Aziz on the outside, comes in centrally instead. Negley will work it out to that right side. Aziz in the corner, first time crossing, hits the backside of Hughes. City should be able to play this one away as Giles gives it to Hughes. He gives it back to a Millwall man, and the visitors have got the ball again. Still goalless here on BBC Radio Humberside. Now it's put in there, and a challenge from Crooks to win it, and Miller faces up, and he'll try and drive down that left-hand side, looking to take on Leonard. Leonard just gets a put in, keeps the ball in play, and able to work it back to Patterson, and Millwall have it again. Nice idea from Miller.
He tried to be positive, but he just needed a little run in behind. I think, obviously, McBurney wants to come to feet. That's where you need to go hard, maybe running in behind, just to give him a different option.
Cooper plays the ball away up towards Coburn. Everything's sticking with him at the moment. First time control. Slips it inside to Ballo with a shot. Deflected off Hughes. Giles isn't going to be able to stop that from going out for another Millwall corner kick.
He gives a problem, doesn't he? The centre forward.
He does.
He pins our back line, creates opportunities for the wide players.
Because he's unselfish as well. He's quite happy to just come away, isn't he?
Exactly.
This one short. Cross is going to come in left-footed. Panda stays on his line and it goes over everyone and out for a goal kick. Yeah, he's quite happy to come deep and show for the ball and have players play off him. He's got Ballo in and around him. That's his
unselfish role at times. He does. He's just doing the dirty things well.
City have themselves a goal kick. And drops it on the end of his 6-yard box. And just taking his time about it, Balloumi's gesturing saying, look, I mean, there's a space here. I mean, it'll take some to actually get it to him from there. But
That's some diagonal passes thinking about there.
It would be, as Panda sends it to the left side instead and comes off a City man and out for a Millwall throw it deep in their own half. They're unbeaten in 9 away in Millwall. That was since losing to 2-1 at Coventry back in January, so that's no shame either in that one, is it?
But I can see why they are, because they're quite compact in the way they play. They sling the ball forward to the big man, and then the wide players come in and get involved. So they are structured behind the ball.
Yeah. It's their only away league loss in this calendar year as well. Coventry, of course, going up as champions. What a season they've had as Crooks wanted Miller to commit to the run. He didn't. Crooks had played the ball down that left channel, and Miller was reaching to the spot. Again, they're not quite in sync at the moment.
No, they're not really fluid. We've seen slight bits of it, but not consistently enough to be able to make loads of chances in the game so far.
Yeah, that's a mismatch there in terms of size and height. Slater and Coburn. Slater did enough to put him off a little bit. Now City can play it down that left side from McBurney to tussle with Kramer for it. They get the throwing out of it to the Tigers and leave it for Miller to take. Gerhardt was showing for it, but decided against going with that. Miller's fancying the long one. He's got that space, as Felix mentioned earlier on. He's got that room over
Extra
on the
room
far
that side.
Yeah, as he backs up towards the perimeter wall of the it's the digital advertising hall these days. As Miller steps back 20 yards out. Skippy run and then sends it into the box. He's headed away. It might come out for a shot. Hughes was trying to catch on the volley, but there was a Millwall man in close proximity. Rolls out to this right side to Balloumi. Turns in onto his left foot. Attempted challenge misses him, and Balloumi writes another one on his left foot. Tries a curling one, always going wide. But the first real moment of positivity in an attacking sense from the Tigers, from range at least.
Yeah, exactly. And as soon as he skipped past that second player, he knew he was always going to have a shot. Could he have hit the target, let someone get the rebound, or at least score himself? Again, cagey, I would still say, in this tie.
Yeah, we've got a couple of goals. Balloumi, due to the amount of time he's been out, of course, obviously another one that had to come back later in after the season had started through the ACL, and then picked up the hamstring problem down at Sheffield Wednesday on Boxing Day. But back in the side, and that one's played away by Patterson. McBurney missed that one completely. I think he's caught one of the Millwall players in doing it, and he's given away a free kick. Is it Mazu Sacco that's down there? It is. Referee's just going to have a chat with Ollie McBurney, who, as you would expect, argues and pleads and protests and argues some more.
Yeah, I think he actually tried to move out the way then, and didn't actually go to head it. He's actually tried to move out the way and then just
shielded.
Yeah, and then just collided with the player.
Well, it's ended up with a free kick to Millwall anyway, and Mazu Sacco just taking a bit of time to get back on his feet. But the referee had just decided to get his card out there. He's not talked himself into a booking, as he knows not. The hands are on the head. That, please, ref, surely not.
Yeah, exactly.
Tigers promotion winner Craig Fagan alongside me, Mike White, James Hogarth with us here at the MKM Stadium. Boos from the City fans as Mazu Sacco gets back to his feet. Slowly, holding his right hip. But it will be a free kick to Millwall as we've got about 2 minutes left. Plus added on time, probably a minute to just tag on maybe a couple of stoppages. Maybe a chance for something he's done so well this season, Sergei Akirovic, have a bit of a regroup at half-time and find a way to try and unlock this Millwall side, because just being the brighter of the two, as much as they've not dominated for the whole half, they've just had the better exchanges as the ball's going to run loose. Referee spots a foul on Egan, and that'll be a free kick.
Yeah, I think they've had the better chances, haven't they, Millwall? I think without hitting a clean shot on goal, the one with a cutback. Better opportunities in terms of shots. But I think we've just been a little bit more cagey in the way that we've played. I think Miller's been stood out for me, been more positive, looked a bit more relaxed than others. That's maybe the word, that's they're more relaxed. Yeah. I think the lads seemed a bit tense.
Yes.
They want to do well, but they're just a little bit tense. They need to relax into it a little bit more.
A little bit more composure from Millwall. Certainly in the middle part of the field as well. Coburn's been a real nuisance and a problem again. A battle with Hughes, this time at halfway almost, as ball's rolled out to Egan and turned back. Of course, it could have been very different in the first couple of minutes when that mazy run with Miller and then Bellumi linking up. McBurney goes down a little bit too easily there. Ball runs loose though to Crooks. Just drifts away to the left. He's got Miller in support. Plays an early ball to him. Miller trying to take on Leonard. Pushes to the goal line. Pushes the ball too far. And out for a goal kick.
Trying to be positive. Again, that's happened in so many different attacks now. We have McBurney played one out of play. Obviously, Miller just ran one out of play there. They're trying to do the right thing, but I don't know if they're just tense. They're just making mistakes and not really getting that quality in the final third. That last bit of detail, be it a shot, cross, or a little through ball.
Patterson will take this. We've got about 15 seconds before we see the board go up. I think it's surely only a minute or so. Maybe a couple. Mazasako was down as well, wasn't he? So as Coyle heads that away, it's going to come back into City's half, and Negley with a lot of space there in the middle of the field. Slips it out to Aziz. There will be just 1 minute of added on time, and out for a Millwall throw-in. So City have got about 40 seconds to defend this at the moment and just keep Millwall at bay. The last thing you need to do now, just going in, we always talk about worst possible time to concede. And they're trying a different throw-in this time. Leonard's left there, doesn't he?
This will be a set play that they'll do with the throw. They'll be looking for blockers.
Yeah, they're taking it.
There you go.
Yeah, almost a foul throw in towards Leonard. Leonard floats across towards the back. Panda has to get there, drops it, and then pounces on it. Bellumi wants it played quickly, hasn't spotted it, Pando. That's often a criticism that's levelled in that distribution, needs to get it out a little bit quicker, and didn't do so there, as McBurney's going to send one away. That's going to run long, and will just about be it for the final couple of seconds of this first half. Patterson with his ball at feet, and the first 45 plus a minute added on time of the Championship playoff first leg in the semi-final here at the Endgame Stadium is all square at 0-0. Millwall the better side, nervous from the Tigers, although they did have that big moment just a couple of minutes in when Bellumi and Miller linking up down the left side. Amazing run from Bellumi, and we're still not sure how he's not hit the net. We thought he must have taken a touch off a Millwall man, but he didn't. It wasn't given as a corner. You were just waiting for the net to bulge. It would have been some goal with a wonderful run from the Algerian down that left-hand side, but it wasn't to be. Millwall have had a lot of ball in and around the City penalty area, some speculative shots. As Craig Fagan was saying earlier on, thankfully they've not made decent contact on some of these shots, because it might have been a different story. But at the break here, in the first half of the first leg, it is Hull City 0, Millwall 0. Craig Fagan.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's a poor half, because they're both in the game. I just think it's just cagey. Yeah, they've both had opportunities, like you said. I think the bright spot for us has been Miller, but then that little bit of tension in terms of the last pass, last cross, last shot, that little bit of detail, and we could have maybe had 1 or 2 chances to hit the target at least. But again, Millwall have had opportunities in the final third, and as you just mentioned there, didn't really connect properly with 2 or 3 shots where we could have been in trouble. Again, they play for set plays. The big man holds the ball up well for them and creates opportunity for the runners or the wide players. They're a threat. They are a threat, Millwall. But I don't think we played our best. Hopefully, second half we come out and give a bit of more of a relaxed account of ourselves, because it's a playoff semi-final. The lads are going to be a little bit tense. They want to do well. It's not that they're not trying to do well, but sometimes the circumstances of the game takes control of your body a little bit more. They just need to relax into it.
They're not getting involved enough in the midfield either. You spoke about that early doors.
Yeah, I think the way that Millwall play, obviously they go into the front man and the second balls do come off it. We need to land on those second balls. And not just that, it's then when we play forward, can we complete that pass? It doesn't have to be a longer one straight away to McBurney. He's not the quickest, he's not Fraser Campbell from my era when we played. It's got to make sure it goes into him, or it's going into the wide place. Then the whole team can get off the pitch. Because what's happening at the moment, we're going longer, maybe too early, going into McBurney, he's not getting hold of it, and then the gap then is massive, and we don't win the ball back quick enough and early enough to keep them in their half.
More to come from Craig Fagan's second half on the way here. It is all square. It's a nervy, edgy, cagey performance, as Craig was just saying. Let's see if they can turn it around in this second half. An interesting evening ahead here at the MKM Stadium. Hull City 0, Millwall 0.
So any sense of nerves amongst the Hull City fans here at the MKM Stadium tonight? Probably not helped by that first half performance here this evening, as Craig and Mike were saying. A nervy, cagey kind of affair in the first 45 minutes. The score is goalless, so right now nothing can separate these two teams, and no clearer indication of which one of these two teams will be heading to Wembley in the conclusion of these two playoff games. Remember, you can get involved with us tonight here on BBC Radio Humberside. Tell us your thoughts, share your opinions on the game and how you're feeling right throughout the second half and at full time as well. You can text 81333. Start the message with the letters RH. You can WhatsApp 08000 321 333. We've got second half commentary on the way here on Humberside Sport Live. Away from the game itself, no Player of the Season awards handed out this year. The do was cancelled as the club focused on reaching this opportunity tonight. The announcements this week of which players were the winners, and we'll hear from one of them on the way shortly.
The forgotten past.
On the outside it looks like a Georgian mansion. From the street frontage there's little sign that it was in fact a theatre.
The local heroes.
And then he put the phone down because he thought someone was winding him up. And the call came back and it was actually Quincy Jones calling Rod.
The places.
Working on the dock. It was almost like when you went over the dock crossings, you sort of entered a different world.
And the stories behind them.
It's not just about the house, it's about Hornsey itself, how it became a seaside place.
Hidden East Yorkshire and Secret Lincolnshire. Listen now on BBC Sounds.
To get the latest on Hull City,
click subscribe on BBC Sounds.
Both sets of substitutes warming up for Hull City and for Millwall. The Millwall players in and amongst the sprinklers. The part of the pitch that faces the north stand is being watered. The pitch that faces the south stand isn't right now. So it's the Millwall players that are trying to avoid getting drenched as they're warming up with the balls, kicking them around, as the City players are kind of doing a run from one end of the pitch to the other. Stadium announcer Steve Jordan playing one of the half-time games with a couple of supporters here. Gives us opportunity to celebrate Ollie McBurney. Can he have a big say in this game tonight? Well, he's had a big say on the season to the effect that he's been named the Players' Player of the Season earlier this week. Having selected the winner, head coach Sergei Yakirovich gave me his reaction to the striker receiving the accolade.
I'm very delighted with Ollie because he brought us everything what I expected. Also, for me it was a very easy decision because I had with him first conversation like a Hull City head coach, and I remember then I asked him, could you score 15 goals? He said to me, yes, I can score, and this is why I chose Ollie, but because of his performance, especially because he had also problems with one injury. Maybe it's a crucial moment for him because he was in great form, but he scored 15. I hope he will score one or two more, so it will be good for us and for the team.
You have to give him it because he's quite scary at times.
No.
Ooh, Ollie. Yeah.
I know. It's like a little puppy.
And Charlie Hughes, young player of the season. How pleased are you by his development through the course of the year?
Yes, it's also fully deserved because Charlie played last year very good. Of course, since this started to bite him little injuries, and then he maybe lost his best performance, but it's fully deserved. He's a very good young player, and it's a nice career. It's in front of him, and I hope he will just stay healthy.
Well done as well to Regan Slater. He picked up a couple of the awards, including the Supporters Player of the Season and Players Player of the Season as well. Now, of course, Ollie McBurney was a hero on Saturday here at the MKM Stadium with another 2 goals to take him to 18 in all competitions this season so far, not being able to add to that in the first half here against Millwall. And he's been rewarded by being named Player of the Year by head coach Sergei Kirovic.
Yeah, wasn't it? It's nice to be rewarded and appreciated, I guess. It's not something kind of going into the season you ever think about, these individual awards, really. You just want to have good seasons, and then it is what it is. But no, really honoured to be chosen and selected for this award, and really grateful and thankful to all the boys.
As you say, it's not something you think about when you're going into a season, and despite all your experience, it's still mean a lot to you.
Yeah, 100%, mate. Yeah, I think it's not very common you get things like this, in your career and stuff like that. So I think it is. It's one of them you are honoured at the time, and it's a nice feeling for you. Good for the ego and things like that. So no, it's a really nice feeling. And like I say, I wasn't expecting any of it, and just to kind of get that confirmation that you've had a season contributed as well is a really nice feeling.
So they set you that 15-goal target at the start of the season, and is this his prize to you for that?
Yeah, I think so. I've told the story before, and that was pretty much the only conversation we had on the Zoom. It was very direct. The boss is very direct, and he doesn't mince his words. So yeah, it was can you score 15 goals? And I said, I think I can. So nice to be able to reward him and reward the club with the trust that they all put in me as well.
Yeah, and that award comes because of that goal return. It's your best goal return in 3 years, and your second best in your career, isn't it? If you removed from the Swansea season that you had. What's it felt like?
Yeah, it feels good, man. Like I said, I've said it a few times before. I feel like not just as a person I've changed, but I feel like as a player I've changed over the last few years. And having the last 2 years before this year being in the Premier League and then in the league, I feel like I learned a lot, and learned how to manage my body and use my body, and just became a better player, all around. I feel like I'm a lot different to when I was younger as a player and as a person. I feel like I'm reaping the rewards for that, and I feel like I'll reap the rewards for that as well this year. So I feel like I'm in a good a spot as I have been, in my career, footballing wise, and I feel confident going into every game now that I can make an impact on a game, which is my job at the end of the day.
You've got a nice spot in the house lined up to put the award on.
I do, mate. Actually, my fiance got me quite recently. Actually, for this year, she got me like a trophy cabinet in my gym. So yeah, there's a few awards in there, and this will go nicely in there as well. So it's nice to look back on for the kids to have a look and show that their dad wasn't a complete helmet the whole time. He did something,
Did you always believe that you could do that again this season?
Yeah, I did, mate. Within myself, and not just within myself. Listen, the way I play, it requires a lot from my teammates. I think I thrive on having them chances in and around the box, and it's tough to make them all for yourself. So I'd say, a massive thank you to all the boys. Gylo probably want a shout out as well. So big thank you to Gylo.
No, my job easy there.
No, it is. I felt, that I really did have something to offer coming in. I know this league, I know the ins and outs of this league, and I know what you have to do to be successful in this league. And I knew that the squad that Jared and the manager and the owner had put together even before I'd signed was capable of doing really good things this year. Playing against these lads, playing either against or with these lads over the year, how I have done, and I know the quality that the lads all have. So. Yeah, I got a few raised eyebrows when I chose Hull at the start of the season after the season that Hull had naturally, but I was always quietly confident that I'd made the right decision, and I've proved to be right. So happy with how everything's gone so far. Hopefully there's a few more games for us left this season. We can go and do what we want to do.
Well, he'll be expected to have a big second half, maybe even a big say in the game on Monday night at the New Den as well. You'd imagine him relishing that prospect on Monday night at the atmosphere of the New Den. Ollie McBurney talking to Mike White about his Player of the Year award. During that interview, one of the club's media staff confirming the attendance here tonight, 24,623 fans. So it is a sellout here at the MKM Stadium tonight, and cracking atmosphere in that first half. Now, Elliot Michela has the chance to lead his side out at Wembley once again as Hull KR continue their Challenge Cup defence in the semi-finals on Sunday. Warrington's side that's won 10 of their 12 so far this year stand in their way. The captain's been talking to BBC Radio Humberside's Leo Jocelyn how he's feeling in the build-up.
Yeah, looking forward to it. These games that they're exciting. The big games. It's exciting for the fans. To come and play at a neutral ground and all that kind of thing, play against the quality side. So yeah, we're really excited and looking forward to Sunday.
You are obviously speaking from Doncaster. You've gone over to train for the day. Speaking to Willie Peters, he says there's a buzz around the group. What's training been like?
Yeah, there's a buzz. I think that's natural. Obviously with the game coming up, it's an important week. It's an important week for the club. But also for the players, we recognise that this is a big week, especially as a player. These days they come around so often, so you've got to embrace them and enjoy the week. So yeah, we've enjoyed the week. We've trained hard today, and prepped really well so far.
To me, this group's very good at is staying quite level. You talk about not having your highs too high and your lows too low, and being quite balanced. But you've also got that emotion you just spoke about around that game. How do you find the balance between making sure you're not too excited, but using that emotion of a game like this to give you that extra 10%?
I think that's comes with experience. I think for us as players, a lot of us, the majority of us have all played in finals. That's the other one at the start of the year, but we've got experience of these weeks and games. Use your experiences really. Learn from weeks where you've probably not done that, but still enjoy it. No matter how experienced you are, it's still exciting. These are games when you're kids, when you want to be a part of them. So remember that. Remember the kid in you that dreamt about playing in these games, but obviously not going too high with that and getting carried away. So it's just managing it, having good balance. But that comes within the group naturally, I think.
But of course, there's a difference to this one because you're defending a trophy that's yours. It's something that you own. Does that feel different now that you're going out to fight for something that is yours?
I guess so. Yeah, maybe a little bit, but it's a new year as well. It's a new team, if you like. There's new individuals within our team, and obviously last year. We sort of left that in the past, and this is the new year, and the 26 group want to make write their own chapters, if you like, and we whilst we recognise last year was it's last year, and if you keep talking about it or thinking about it, then you lose track of what you're about to do. So we recognised last year unbelievable, but this is a new year, and we want to make history.
That's the captain of Hull Kingston Rooms, Elliot Michela. We can really barely hear ourselves speak and think tonight. The speakers, the music system here is very loud at the MKM Stadium. That will give way to the second half. Commentary here at Humberside Sport Live from Mike White and former Hull City player Craig Faker.
Thanks, James. Yeah, the tannoy drifts away, and not quite the bellow that we got from the fans at the start of that first half. I think things have just settled down a little bit in that regard. Maybe the fans, Craig Fagan, feeling a little bit as edgy as the performance looked at times in that first 45.
I mentioned it before the game. The fans want some more, maybe more from the players. The players have got to give the fans a little bit more to get them a little bit louder. Let's hope this half they step on the gas a little bit, more control, make more chances and opportunities, and nick a couple of goals this half.
No changes from either side at half-time. It's probably not a surprise, is it? It'd be more about what he wants them to do with the players that are out there rather than changing the personnel just yet.
Yeah, I think the team talks would have been pretty similar to the players that both played, both sets of teams, in terms of that. Need to give a little bit more, make less mistakes, give the ball away a little bit less, because I think the quality is still on the pitch. It's just those little mistakes both teams are making.
All underway. I'll give you a thought from talking to some of the fans in a second, but headed forward by Millwall as Ballo will just run into the space. He'll play back towards Cooper, the tall centre half, and those that back four of the Lions. Then Kramer will send it away. Hughes heads it back, comes into Aziz though. Millwall looking to build something here, working across to Sturge. Sturge on the edge of the area, fancies a short deflection, and that deflection just picks it up into Eva Pando. A bit of exchange of words there between John Egan and Louis Coyle. Not happy with something. And then Egan has to concentrate on this ball that's played into him. He flicks it, plays it forward up towards McBurney. He tries to flick it off. Millwall have won it back again. Talk about those second balls as Aziz is foul, but referee says play on, blocked by Negley. Shot by Negley's blocked rather, and then played away. So Sacco will get in to collect it at halfway. Then work down that left side to Sturge. He's got a bit of space. He's had far too much of that at times, Zach Sturge, who's gone in a few advanced positions, hasn't he?
He's done very well. And at the moment it's taken a similar pattern. When it's gone into their centre forward, he's held on to it a little bit better than McBurney has at the moment, which they've been able to create a few more chances. But hopefully that will change this half.
Yeah, talking to a few City fans whilst walking down at half-time as the Tigers win it back. One of them feeling quite positive. Balumi looking for the free kick there. I think he always was looking for it. And the referee shakes his head. No foul. And Millwall get it back again. Yeah, a lot of fans feeling sort of saying, yeah, it's all right, we're fine, we're still in it, 0-0. We're fine with that.
They're not out of the tie, of course.
Yeah.
0-0. Still 45 minutes to go. Again, we were happy going in at 0-0 at half-time. It's just that we know they could play a little bit better and be winning the tie.
Here come Millwall down the right, played through that channel. Giles intercepts it. Pokes it away. Millwall get it back again. Leonard rolls it behind to Kramer. French defender. No playoff experience for him as Patterson, who's got plenty of it with those 8 playoff games. Sends it away. Ballo gets there. Strong challenge from Egan. He's hurt himself as well as Egan in the process. He'll stay down. He's holding his ankle. The referee says foul as well. Or as he stops. He's definitely going to check on Egan. Negley is arguing with him. Ollie McBurney having a word with the fourth official down there about something as well. Egan just taking his time and then eventually gets back up, bit of a limp. Probably one of those just an awkward one.
Yeah, I thought that was a fair challenge, strong challenge, but fair. I think McBurney's moaning the fact that he's getting grabbed before the ball coming to him. That's what he's been playing about the whole half, and obviously he's doing that again now. Putting it in the fourth official's head so they can speak to the referee as the game's going on.
Often when that's the kind of game you play and that's the reputation you have, it sometimes makes it harder to get those decisions, doesn't it?
100%, because the both centre forwards are physical, so there's going to be both from both sides, the defenders and the attacking players. So the ref's going to leave a little bit in the game. Like if you think about Haaland and the Arsenal centre half, that's how they played it in the previous week.
Yeah. Millwall throwing just in front of Sergei Kirovic's technical area, and he's pulling his jacket there, is Sergei, just to say, look, there's a bit more of that going on. Giles gets the ball back for City. Cooks can face up, and he'll slip it down this left side for Miller, who just couldn't control that one. It just skipped away. I thought on the stretch he might have been able to get that, but he didn't. And it goes out for a Millwall throw-in. Let me give you the two teams then. City unchanged from the side that beat Norwich on Saturday. Panda in goal, Coyle, Egan, Hughes and Giles the back four. Slater and Crooks in the midfield. Gelhardt playing further forward of that. Balumi and Miller, the two wide players, right and left, and McBurney up front. On the bench, Dylan Phillips, John Lundstrom, Shemi Ajayi, Yu Hirakawa, Carl Joseph, Darko JB, Kieran Dowell, Lewis Kumas and Paddy McNair. And we've had nearly 5 minutes of the second half here, still goalless. Well, Balumi stands in that first half, hitting the upright. Couldn't quite work out initially. There was a lot of bodies in there, wasn't there? We couldn't work out, but we see what happened. Yeah, he hit the upright, and that's how he still don't know how he didn't get it in though. I know it was a really acute angle. Hughes rolls it towards Giles, who floats it down that left side. Miller just trying to get in ahead of Leonard, who's done well to clear that one away. Giles will head it forward up towards McBurney. Bounce awkwardly for him. Crooks goes in, McBurney gets it. Can he free it? He can. To Coyle, and now they've got a 2-on-1 down that right side. Coyle might fancy it himself, right foot in. It was rising and just over. That was a cracking strike from Louis Coyle. The fans fancied it for a half second, and it doesn't hit the target. But that's the kind of thing City need to be doing. Just maybe test Millwall once or twice, and it flies out for a goal kick.
A better ball forward to Miller. Obviously then McBurney more physical, holding on to the football, and then Crooks winning that header before it come into McBurney. I did actually think Louis Coyle was going to play that out wide, decided to hit the shot just over, but positive play in the final third.
Very much so. Really nice strike from Louis Coyle. As one goes out for a Millwall throw.
I don't think he's got many this season, has he, Louis?
No, no, he hasn't. He hasn't scored this season. Actually, you've got to go back to last season for the last time he scored. I was just trying to look because I thought I actually had a note on it and it's disappeared. I'll come back to that. I'm sure I had a note. No, that's fine. I think I bet his Brooks is foul, brought down. That'll be a free kick. And
first bucket.
A bucket. But Casper de Nor, the Belgian, was the first to see a yellow card. It's been coming, hasn't it? The referees let a bit go.
Yeah, there's been a few that go. Listen, you don't want players to be booked early on, but sometimes the referee, he dictates what kind of game it's going to be in terms of letting things go when they are actually fouls. Because I know he wants to get the game flowing, but it then helps them make more fouls against our players in that first half.
And you had it somewhere. His last goal was just at Plymouth towards the beginning of last season, August 24, in a 1-1 draw. His last time he scored here, April 22 against Cardiff. Oh wow. So it's been a while. City got a free kick. Giles will take it. Delivers it into the box. Doesn't beat the first man. Played away. Out to Coyle. Coyle will hang it up towards his left side. Crooks pushing to header down, intended for Giles. And that goes out for a throw-in. He was there.
And frustration, he's losing his head there, Crooks.
Yeah, quick word with Ryan Giles. It's just been a little bit of that. I mean, it happens, you played. It happens, doesn't it? It's professional spirit more than anything else. But they just need to get on the same page a little bit more, doesn't it? We'll say exactly.
It's just a demand from each other. They want more from each other.
Yeah. Millwall, a couple of changes from the side that won on the final day of the season against already relegated Oxford. I'll give you that in a second because here come City once more. Crooks to Miller. Millwall getting players back. Miller on the left side, cross ball in too deep, and we often talk about Liam Miller, very positive, but it's that end, the final ball, that sometimes he's lacking with him. Yeah, and that was another example of it.
Good positivity, driving forward, and obviously when he's cut back, then the cross doesn't need to be too high. And again, it's just deflated with that final ball, final cross, final pass.
Millwall lining up similarly to City. We've got Patterson in goal, back four of Leonard, Kramer, Cooper and Sturge. And with midfield of Denor, Mazu Sacco and then Negley. Aziz and Ballo, the wide players, and Coburn up front. And I say that about the midfield and the wide players. It's very fluid as City might try and break here. A header down from Balloumi to Gelhardt. He's got Crooks striding forward towards the right angle of the area. Support with Coyle. Has to turn his run back. Coyle has it. Plays it back to Crooks again. Sends a cross deep through the area. Miller will get there just, and then can't get it under control. And Leonard just nibbling at him as well. And that was enough to put off the Canadian, and it's a Millwall throw-in.
That was better from Gelhardt. We haven't really spoke about him much this game so far. He's managed to land on a bit so far in this half. He needs to get into the game a little bit more. Talented he is. Just landing on those pieces, just in and around the edge of the 18-yard box, being able to thread people, and he can shoot and can score from distance as well, so he needs to get in the game a lot more.
Comes back to what we've said before though about Gelhardt, still not sure you get the best out of him in that 10 run.
Yeah, exactly that.
He doesn't, and I think the midfield suffer as a result of that as well.
Yeah.
City have got themselves a throw in the Millwall bench. Former Grimsby Town keeper Max Crocombe, Danny McNamara, Billy Mitchell, Mihajlo Ivanovic, who was one of two players to drop out from last week, starting side, Barry Bannon being the other, Alfie Doughty, Macaulay Langstaff, Tommy Watson and Luke Condell. 10 minutes of the second half, still goalless in a rather edgy opening playoff game of the 25-26 campaign. First leg of the Championship playoffs. BBC Radio Humberside Sport. Mike White and Craig Fagan and James Hogarth alongside us through until 10:30 tonight. We'll do our best to get reaction from the dressing room. Sergei and hopefully a player before then. Fags will stick around for some thoughts as we'll look ahead to the second leg as well on Monday night. Got more playoff action to come on Sunday, as well as Rugby League Challenge Cup action. Hawkinson Rovers and Grimsby Town. Commentaries here on BBC Radio Humberside. Plenty to go at as the football season starts to wind down, but still a hell of a lot to play for two of our sides. As Hughes puts a foot in there, puts a ball out for a throw-in to Millwall on this near right touchline. Taken quickly to Negley. Shrugs off the challenge of Slater, and the Netherlands-born Algerian under-23 is able to work it away towards that left-hand side towards Sturge. Again in a tight position, turns it away from Balumi. Gelhardt will win it back, but the referee says there was a foul in there, a little pull apparently.
Soft, that one. Very soft one.
City supporters and boos start to ring out around as well. And it will be a free kick which Aziz will take. I'm going to say it cautiously, he's not been as big a factor as he can be for Millwall, has he, so far?
Well, that's what I was trying to mention, Gelhardt, in terms of him being quite hoping that he comes into play. And you just mentioned him now. I hope Aziz doesn't come alive in these attacking areas for Millwall.
Commentator's curse is a real thing. Aziz with a free kick, 30 yards out. 8 in from the left touchline, but it's a dangerous one, and it's bounced through the 6-yard box. You could see there was a man, I think it was Cooper coming in on an angle, and maybe Kramer as well, and then eventually it's gone out for a City ball.
He's complaining, Cooper, saying he was blocked and his shirt was pulled. So good defending, whoever that was, just keeping him away the line of the ball.
Yeah, because he's the real threat in there. They've got some units, and we've said Coburn. Denor's not a small player, is he? Leonard can be
exactly
a presence in there as well. But City dealing with that one. Throwing taken almost by the left corner flag, and Giles plays that one away. Cole's got ahead of Vallow there, and then works it to Balumi. 15 yards inside the Millwall half. That's more now because he's driving forward and he's got the pace. Gets around the outside of his man, and then it's covered by Sturge. City fans want a foul. It was never going to happen, that one, was it? It was the slightest of touches. But Balumi at one point had pressed the turbo boost. Past his man. Sturge did well, actually.
Yeah, I thought he was away at one point, but he gave the defender an opportunity where the ball was closer to the defender than the attacker, so the referee was always going to side on the defender there.
Yeah. There's a lone clear balloon just drifts onto the MKM Stadium pitch. The ball just rolls about a yard past it there, and Kramer sends it forward. His opposite number, Charlie Hughes, gets ahead on it. Crooks in with a challenge. He was stretching there, always favourite to get it, but out of control on the challenge meant that he couldn't get it as the ball ran loose. Millwall get it back once more as with a minute from the hour mark. Still goalless here on FM Digital and Freeview. Here's Aziz trying to open his legs. Crooks gets a little foot in. Fair challenge. Aziz stays down. Referee, no issue with it. And I tell you what, Crooks, I think, saved himself in the process, hasn't he?
That was a good challenge. I think he just got a slight kick as he's gone to make that challenge. But again, as I was talking about at half-time, and clearing the football, he's on his own at Burnley at times. There's not that support around him to be able to keep the ball in their half.
Yeah, Aziz is back on his feet. It's dueling chants from the East Stand and the North Stand fans in black and amber. So ball's played forward. Balumi's trying to get them, but Birdie will get on the end of it, and he's got past his man down the right side. Miller's in, he can play an early ball into Miller. Lays the ball off, just not the best of touches. He stayed down as Miller, and the referee says the flag's up.
He was too eager to get in the box, unfortunately, but then I think he made the wrong decision as well in terms of setting it for someone else instead of going himself and having a shot side foot, one touch, getting a shot on target. Yeah, but again, it's that eagerness to want to do well, but he couldn't hold his run, he's in there too early.
But Burnley saw him, but by the time he was able to deliver it, like you saw, that made difference. Yeah. Because he was so desperate to make sure that he stayed ahead of the defenders, wasn't it? Or away from the defenders, I should say, and ended up ahead of them. Things just started to open up for City.
Yeah, it seems to be a little bit more open for us, definitely, in this first half, and second half, should I say, sorry.
Yeah. But Burnley nudged off the ball there. Gelhardt goes through a Millwall sandwich, tries to flick it on to Miller, and then McBurney's going to end up giving away a free kick, and He'll argue with the fourth official before the referee comes his way, then I'm sure he'll have a word or two for Gavin Ward as well. And yeah, I'm not wrong. There we go. And the free kick, which Millwall will take just shy of halfway. And Millwall's side that in the nine straight season in the Championship, they've only finished outside the top top 10 I should say, 3 times, and outside the top half 2 times. So they've always been in and around.
They're always in and around it. I think the way they play, they have a way of playing, should I say, it's worked for them more this season, playing into the big target man.
Yeah, and that's what we'll try and do here as Leonard sends that free kick forward, but City get a head on it, and then Denol will pick it back up. Azu Sako will play it square, midway inside the City half. Negley just forced to turn it back to Kramer. Kramer, and then Cruyff turn away from Slater. And then back to their own half. Then they come forward. Negley gives it to Azu Sako again. To the left side to Sturge. Shrugs off the challenge of Balumi. Back inside to Kramer. And we'll just keeping the ball a little bit. An angle ball there. If he fancies it, he's going to try a shot from range. And well, I'm going to say it's a defender's shot.
That is Leonard. He's always had a shot from distance. I think no, it wasn't actually. It was Kramer.
Yeah.
I'd be more scared if that was Leonard because he can shoot.
Yeah,
he can. But yeah, there was no need for that. Good for us, but not a good decision for Millwall there. It's all glory. That's what he said.
Oh, 100%. He did. I'm with you. I've seen Leonard before. I've covered other games when he was at Southend.
Yeah.
I covered Scunthorpe United games, and he has got a shot on. He has. Oh, there's a kick with a bit of pace there from Cooper as he played it back to Patterson. Complete control on it from their point of view. 63 minutes gone at the MKM Stadium as night has drawn in now with the floodlights beaming down. They always love night games anyway, but when you add in the jeopardy of the playoffs, a little bit less jeopardy when it's the first leg, but it's that kind of night, isn't it? You just feel it. I'm not sure, I can't work out what they're saying. I'm maybe not sure I want to work it out, and certainly not repeat it on the BBC. Because Coburn making a nuisance of himself again, frees himself up to play that ball to Denol. Now Leonard down the line, Denol beaten to it by Crooks, who will try and shepherd this out. He's just done well, Crooks there, he did that well. Just has the legs. Goes out for a City goal kick. So 3-1. The 2 games this season in the league, with the away side winning both. The last time City won here against them was when Jaden Philogene had scored just 5 minutes into the game back in February 2024. A 1-0 win that day. Last meeting between these two sides here was the first loss in 5 for the Tigers against Millwall. They're holding a 0-0 here at the moment in what's been an edgy game. Is the cagey is the word we keep coming back. It's opened up a little bit in this second half, but certainly there seem to be some more opportunities for City. If they can get that right
coming
ball.
to that point where you feel the manager's going to make a decision in terms of a change. Will it be Joseph for Gelhardt, or maybe Balumi changing? But I think they need something, a little bit of injection, a bit more pace. Maybe McBurney might help. Something different for Millwall to think about.
Yeah, it depends. It might, if it's Balumi, he might keep Gelhardt, maybe push him out wide. Does he play Joseph in, or does he get Joseph out wide and stick with Gelhardt? I'm not sure. I think Dean Holden just looking, he's just given the little hand gesture, so move on.
See, coach's head.
Yeah, he's thinking.
I'm thinking about it.
Always thinking. Craig Fagan, new Maidstone United manager, former City promotion winner. Well, always a promotion winner, that'll always be there. Former City player, former City player taking a promotion winner. Here's Coyle, driving into the Millwall half, then Balumi, play back to Coyle, he shrugs off a challenge, sends it back inside, but Cooper will just be able to get there and send that one away. Big Jake Cooper.
He's so good at that. He's so good at that.
And now Coburn has got it, and he's got some support on the side, and it's Sturge who's got in another advanced position. Worked off it though, Gelhardt tracking back. He's so good at doing that side of it.
Coburn just does that so well. Balls that aren't his that really he shouldn't get hold of. He just he gets hold of the ball for Millwall so well. He just brings their attacks into play where really it was just a long ball forward.
Yeah.
He's taken out 3 of our defenders by just keeping hold of the football and creating an attack for Millwall.
It's a tricky customer to deal with, no doubt. Millwall have it back again, and there's that space again. I know City are quite happy to let them have it a little bit there, but it's giving them that freedom to move it around at that moment, isn't it? Leonard inside to Kramer. French defender drives across out towards the left side to Serge, flags up for offside. Maybe a free kick to City, and we are going to see a double change short.
But like you said, the gap then with the midfield and the defensive line away from McBurney, it is an issue then. For me, more pace around McBurney to be able to link up with him and give him an option to play into him and then behind him as well.
Yeah. Well, it's going to be a double change, and probably the two players we were talking about, because Hirakawa's coming on.
Yeah.
So you'd have to think that's going to be Balumi coming off on that side, and it looks like Joseph.
Yeah, I think so.
It is. You just see the top of his head emerging from the dugout down there, getting the last bit of instruction from Herbal Boscott, the City goalkeeping coach. The tactics of Balumi's won the ball back, big inside the Millwall half, into Galhart, on his right, on his left, up goal, pinballs off a defender, and then runs to Patterson. And that was an opportunity that goes begging. It opened up, you just fancied it, didn't you? If you could get it onto that left foot. Now Millwall with a quick break at the other end. Crooks has got to be careful with the challenge here. If Negley goes forward, doesn't have to hold his progression. Out to the right side to Aziz, near the edge of the area, couple of step overs. Sends a cross in, straight into Pandra at the near post. Applause from the fans, and we're at the halfway point of the second half. Still Hull City 0, Millwall 0.
Again, I've just heard that what you were on about with Pandora in terms of releasing the ball quick enough, but fans getting onto his back for not releasing it when it was on.
Yeah, there was definitely an option there, and eventually he did. Still the instruction being given to Hirakawa and Joseph. The place certainly in Hirakawa, who's obviously had to come back from the injury that at one point was threatening to derail his World Cup campaign this summer with Japan. That ankle problem that's been an issue for him a couple of years before as well. But back and involved, he's had experience in the playoffs with Bristol City last season. Still not on the field yet, but they've done Millwall. City just trying to repel them once more. Negley in the middle of the half. Given to Jake Cooper. In his 488th career game, 434 of those for Millwall, the former Reading and England youth. And Negley again, 30 yards out on his left foot, fancies a shot, drags it, hits the post. That's as close as it's going to get for Millwall. A goal kick for City. Living a little bit dangerously, allowed him the space to just pick his spot there, and thankfully he took it well enough.
What the midfield did and the defenders, they were kind of like, I've got my man, I'm not going to release myself, but someone had to go out and close down the shot. Luckily it hit the post and didn't end up in the back of the net.
Luckily for the Tigers, Joseph is on for Balumi. They're going to keep Galhart on, and it's going to be Liam Miller that comes off. And I know fans have questioned this sometimes before when this has happened. And I've asked Sergei about it in the past, and he said we're looking at his minutes. Bearing in mind, having had the ACL, that hamstring, yes, he's starting to get back to more his full fitness. But you have all the stats these days, don't you? All the readings, you can tell where these players are at.
Yeah, I think obviously behind the scenes, you kind of know the manager and the team behind know with the minutes in terms of that fitness and where the levels are and the changes. I see it as a positive change. He hasn't waited. What we now 69 minutes.
Yeah,
I think he's been more positive than the Millwall manager who wanted to make a change.
And it's the first touch for you. The fans will tell you. Hirakawa takes it to the goal and into McBurney. He got a touch on it, but it's just a glancing touch wide. Did it come off the defender? McBurney thinks it did. From the Japanese international.
And that's what it is, a wide play. When you're coming on, you just want the ball at your feet as quick as possible so you can make a positive impact. Puts them on the back foot. Again, McBurney across the near post. He did get a touch, he was just trying to counter the referee.
Yeah, he did, yeah.
But you have to feed him in the 18-yard box, and he will score if he gets a good opportunity.
Lively introduction to the game for Hirakawa. Patterson restarts for Millwall. Joseph with a header, but Cooper will collect it from Millwall, who are in those sort of off-white shirt, shorts and socks. Played off to the left-hand side. Ball comes into the area. Slater just has to be composed as he volleys that one away. Galhart trying to shrug off the challenge. McBurney looking to get in there as well. Worked off it by Mizu Sacco. Down the line to Ballo. Looks to turn inside. Good challenge there as City win it back again. Crooks Looking a bit leggy, isn't he? Yeah. Over there, and McBurney gets fouled. There's a free kick. That is by Gavin Wall, the referee.
But he's clever, McBurney, obviously watching, knowing the centre forward. He just waits for that touch, waits for a hand on the back, and he drops to his feet. He could have stood up there, but it's clever. Gives a free kick, or gets us a free kick.
Yeah, because he knows there's no benefit to standing up in that position, is there? He's back to halfway. His cross is going to come in from the right side by Joseph. Might run loose to McBurney. Cleared away by Millwall. City fans starting to believe all of a sudden that there might be an opportunity here. Here's Hirakawa. Now Slater. 30 yards out. Scurrying level pass to the right. Coyle tries to send it in, top and touch off the Millwall man. Comes back out to Coyle. Way to the right side to Joseph. Coyle makes the run, and he's got space. Louis Coyle, right footed crossing towards McBurney in the header there, away from Kramer. Just gets it out for a City throw-in. You went for that.
I went to head that myself. What I will say is the wide players have made a difference. They've kept the football, they've made the right decisions, they've played forward, haven't kicked it out of play at times, just there. Haven't created chances.
Gellhardt, right-hand side, tries to cross, blocks from close range, it loops up in the air, Joseph's in there, knocks it down, his first time involved in the playoffs. He's talking to him ahead of this. We heard him in the build-up to the game, interview on BBC Sounds. If you search Hull City, click subscribe while you're there, that's where all the post-match reaction will be. We're going to see Kieran Dowell, who maybe some fans have questioned at times, but I thought he was really good when he came on and just helped settle things down a bit for the Tigers on Saturday. Dowell, who's still waiting to come on at the moment. City got themselves a throw-in. Another one who's not been, surprisingly actually, no experience in the playoffs before. I thought he might have done, the former Everton youth. And here's City, right-hand side. Coyle going to hang a cross up in towards Hirakawa. He's not the best person as the smallest player on the pitch, but headed away. Comes out to Slater, edge of the box. Egan sends across towards the back in towards McBurney, just too far. Pull on the shirt of McBurney, even he's not claiming that one. And it's out for a goal kick.
But again, more positive. This is what we wanted to see from the start of the game. More possession in the final third. Crosses going into the box. That's what he feeds off McBurney.
Yeah.
But again, it's come from the changes. The changes have been positive.
Millwall going to make a couple of changes as well. Barry Bannon's coming on. That might be a reason for a couple of the boos. Probably just because of his Sheffield Wednesday connection, if nothing else. Casper Denor and Tieno Ballo are the players to go off.
I think that's got to do with a lot with we've had more possession in this second half. You know Barry Bannon, he wants to get on the football and play. It takes a lot. He did for Sheffield Wednesday. Yeah. So the thought of bringing him on is can they get more of the football?
And the City change sees Kieran Dowell come on for his 15th appearance for City. His 240th career game, as I said, his first time in the playoffs. He replaces Joe Gellhardt. Thoughts on that change? We thought it might be coming.
I thought it might be coming. He had an opportunity then before that where it was around the 18-yard box and it bounced into him and then ran into the goalkeeper. Disappointed. Oh, he'll be disappointed. He didn't really have a massive impact on the game.
36-year-old Barry Bannon on for his 656th career game. Played in that playoffs final at Wembley when City beat Sheffield Wednesday by a goal to nil 10 years ago, the last time the Tigers were involved in the playoffs. Luke Cundle, at 24 years of age, he's on his first playoff experience, signed from Swansea back in January of last year. First changes for them. The City have it in their own half with Giles, in towards Dowell, first touch for him, flipped off by McBurney. Slater tries to get it through to Giles, it comes off a Millwall man and out for a throw-in. Certainly seems to have been a lift with the Tigers, doesn't there, from their point of view?
Yeah. The ball's moving a lot quicker than it did. As soon as it was going out in the first half, everybody was waiting for a set play.
His Coburn has beaten Hughes a little bit too easily there, and now Millwall have got it deep in City territory. Here's the Hughes, tries a shot, and Panda saw that late because there was a lot of bodies. It went through legs, and he just manages to drop down to get a right hand on it. That was a tricky one for Panda,
great save, because he's going through bodies. He sees it at the last minute. Excellent save.
Nice work from Aziz, but it all came about from, again, Coburn making an absolute nuisance of himself.
He is an issue for us, obviously, the way he's getting hold of the football for them. Again, balls that really he shouldn't get hold of. He's a real threat to our back line and makes chances.
City goal. McBurney is just getting held there. It was almost like a full Nelson he was getting in wrestling terminology. But the referee lets that one go again. Gavin Ward of Surrey No stand in this second half. Ball's back with Anthony Patterson. Now to Kramer. Bezieus from France. There's Masu Sakho again, the Frenchman. And Sergei Kirich, he's living and playing every ball down there at the moment, isn't he? Or every
He's involved in the game.
Now it's with Cooper. Don't forget, after the game, we'll look to get reaction on air till 10:30 on Humberside Sport Live. Thanks will be with James until we start to get that reaction, and then of course the second leg here on BBC Radio Humberside Sport on Monday night, on air from 6 o'clock from the Den, as Hirakawa goes down, not to header past Aziz. Referee says no foul again. He really is letting a lot go. McBurney flicks it off towards Hirakawa. McBurney gets in there, flicks it onto Giles on this left side, all very crowded, goes for the cross and ends up being a shot towards goal. Patterson was able to react to it. And that definitely was the epitome of the cross-come shot, wasn't it?
Exactly, yeah. I think he needed to cross that, then maybe run that down the line a little bit. He was trying to be positive, but then they go in the goal sometimes.
We've seen
kicks. Stewie Elliott was an expert at them once.
He loved them. Here come Millwall at the other end with Negley. Crooks gets a foot in again, ref lets that one slide. And City come away with Matt Crooks. Plays it the outside of his right foot towards Joseph. City come forward. Millwall trying to get numbers back. Here is Joseph. Early ball in, hits the first man. And then Sturge picks it up, keeping that left corner. Plays it away down the line, out for a throw-in. City starting to put the pressure on again. Quick throw-in taken by Coyle. Oh, not the best of balls there as Egan lost out. Slater might get on the end of it, but Millwall just played free, and now Millwall could try and come forward, and they've got a 4-on-3. City looking to get players back. Giles has to try and decide what he's doing. Here's Negley. Ball slipped into the box. Maybe an opportunity into the area for Millwall. Negley with the shot on the right foot and pushes it well wide. And City can breathe a sigh of relief. 0-0.
Yeah, luckily a bad decision there by their attacking players, because we were under pressure, like you say, 4-3-3, counter-attack. But the game is opening up. It is definitely less cagey in terms of that. It's opening up. There's going to be counter-attacks, and we need to take an opportunity, or at least put the ball in the back of the net, because it is opening up for them, and I think they are dangerous on their counter-attack. Millwall, I think they've scored a lot of goals through counter-attack opportunities.
Yeah, they certainly have. I'm trying to work out, they've pushed Crumble over to that left-hand side.
Yeah, they have, yeah.
As City have won the ball back inside Millwall's half. McBurney goes down, no foul. Referee once again not giving anything at the moment. The fans not happy about it. Here come Millwall trying to break at the other end. City have got numbers back. Egan couldn't decide whether to stick or twist there, and then gets a foot in on Coburn, and City get it back once more. And Crooks plays it out. Ooh, Egan was at full stretch for a couple of strides there, just to make sure it didn't roll out for a throw-in. Tight squeeze over on that far side, so Crooks comes back infield to Coyle. Coyle takes it almost to the touchline, comes up a Millwall man out for a throw-in. And we've got just over 10 minutes of this first leg, and you still can't separate the sides. Craig Fagan.
Yeah, 0-0. Yeah, I said 2-1, so I might be wrong. But listen, we're not losing. That is the main thing. I think looking back at the game, if we just finish like this, chances we had in the final third, did we really take care in the final pass or shot? But there's still time. There's still time in this game to go and score 2 goals at least now.
Cole with the throw. Headed away by Cooper. Comes back to Egan. Egan sends it forward. McBurney goes down. That was not one the referee's going to give based on the experience of tonight.
Yeah, he's even told him to get up there now. So that tells you what he's feeling about McBurney at the moment.
Yeah.
Referee.
He was had a thing or two to say to one of the assistant referees over on that far side, the east-stand side. Here's Bannon. Rolls a simple ball towards Kramer. Carroll trying to clip his ankle there. Kramer keeps going, then pokes it towards Aziz.
He's going to book McBurney now for speaking to the line straight away. That's his own way of getting his own back, the referee.
Oh, he's just having a word with him. I thought the same as you. The purposeful way he was walking across to him.
You thought he's giving the patronising calm down and finger to the mouth.
Yeah.
He's not going to calm him down, let's be honest.
No. another change to be made. Sturridge is going to go off. He's been a figure of threat for them, hasn't he?
Yeah, he has.
Played it, has got in some real advanced positions down that left-hand side. He comes off to be replaced by Alfie Doughty, who didn't play for Charlton in their League One playoff campaign when he was there. He was involved for Luton when they lost to, when they beat Coventry, I should say, in that 22-23 campaign. With about 8 minutes left. Taking the time with his throw-in, Leonard eventually does so. Hughes with a diving header away, felt as though he was getting pulled by Coburn. That's been a battle for the ages tonight, hasn't it?
It has.
And that Coburn's had the better of at times, but Hughes is still standing. And City very much still standing at 0-0. Negley sweeps the ball away, and a bit of a wayward one from him, allows Joseph to get in, but the Millwall man comes in, and Condell just to keep possession. Played back to halfway, Bannon comes in to collect it. Negley's made a run, Bannon fancies it, tries to pick him out, in towards Negley, knocks a header back to Aziz, edge of the area, on his right, on his left, needs some cover, and Crooks was in there just to do enough, and Egan can help it on its way, but comes back out to a Millwall player in Bannon. Now Condell, out to that left-hand side, played all the way back to Cooper at halfway. Now Bannon again. Still Millwall, come on City. The fans try and encourage their side once more. It's 0-0 in the playoffs in the first leg. Still a long way to go in this tie yet. But City won't want to concede now. They've just allowed Millwall to start getting a bit more of a foothold without offering a real threat in the final third phase.
No, I think that's the reason why they brought Barry Bannon on. Those diagonal balls he plays forward with that real quality.
Let's flick there from Mazu Sakho. And then City play away. Can Joseph get there first? Cooper just gets in ahead of him. Carl Joseph, who scored 2 down at the Den back in December. After a rapid-fire start from Millwall in terms of the way they went about it. City managed to repel it before Joseph got City in front. Here's Bannon. Back to Doughty. 26-year-old midfielder. They just slotted him in the centre midfield, haven't they, at the moment? Yeah. He's pushed back out now. I was going to say he's more of a naturally outside player, isn't he? I think
listen, we started to have a foothold in the game with the changes we made. They brought Bannon on because he dictates the ball and the way he plays centrally. He couldn't have started the game because of his legs, but we need to get in and around him so he can't have so much of a say on the game like he has now.
And here he is now. He's got on the end of a loose ball. Plays to this right-hand side to Aziz. Challenge from Giles, puts it out for a throw-in. A wall ball. They want to get on with it quickly.
I think they're thinking about making another change again. Conversations are being had on the bench.
Which will be their final one. So whether they use up their final 2, it's definitely their last allocation. It's Ivanovic. You can see he's going to come on. Who's the 3rd highest scorer this season with 9. Throw-in's going to come in from Leonard into the box. McBurney with an unchallenged header away. Out to Leonard again. Flicks the ball into the box, headed up in the air, and then hooked back by Coburn. Ball drifts out to that left-hand side. Little shove from Slater. Then a break down the left. Maybe a chance for Millwall. Driven into the box. Doesn't beat Coyle. Comes back into the area again, and Millwall have got the breakthrough, but the referee spots a foul. Leonard has it in the net. Cheers from the City fans as they see the visitors denied. But that was the first moment where you just felt for a second City had been unpicked. But the referee's whistles denied them. 5 minutes from the end. It remains Hull City 0, Millwall 0. With a sigh of relief, Craig Fagan.
Ironic, because the referee hasn't given a foul, but majority of fouls during the game, so I'm glad he's given that one. But again, superb play from the centre forward. They've managed to put the ball back in the box like they do, and we've got away with one there.
Confirmation of the attendance, 7 more than there was on Saturday, 24,623. A sellout crowd here at the MKM Stadium for the final game here, regardless of what happens. And a away leg to come at Millwall on Monday, and maybe, just maybe, another trip to London after that if things go right. 0-0 here. Millwall have got a man down, and they've made a change. They've brought on Ivanovic for Coburn, who's done his job tonight, hasn't he? Well, it's not in the scoring side of it, but in terms of being an absolute physical threat.
Yeah, I don't want to be disrespectful, but he's like a bit like a battering ram for them.
Yeah.
In terms of wearing down the back line, have they made a change now for something different? Same for us in terms of our wide players. They've done okay. Again, minutes for Miller, something different coming on. You need subs.
Yeah.
You do need that. They can impact the game.
As you said about him earlier, completely different in terms of ability level, but he's got that Haaland about him, hasn't he? His movement and the way
Exactly that.
he gets himself in those positions. Drags defenders with him.
Exactly. He makes spaces for other people.
Yeah.
And again, if it comes into him, he's reliable to hold on to it. You know you can always make a run because the chances are he will get hold of it and pass it to a teammate.
City nearly capitalising there with Dowell, but Masu Sako was able to get it away. Here's Bannon, 10 yards from halfway. Millwall just patiently trying to create an opening to get this further forward as the Millwall fans get their presence known again. It looks like it's just getting a little bit heated over there. It's a bit of pushing and shoving. Police and stewards have had to step in. As play continues, Hughes will side foot that one away for Hirakawa to chase after. John Lundstrom's going to be brought on. You'd have to think Matt Crooks for the final few minutes.
So. I think you might be right there.
It's not. It's going to be Regan Slater. He puts his head down.
Yeah, I think it was either one of those two. They've worked so hard. We just need more legs in there, if I'm honest.
Yeah. Later on, off rather, Lundstrom comes on. Lundstrom, who's had 2 playoff appearances, one of which was, both of which came for Leyton Orient, I should say. One semi-final and lost in the final against Rotherham. And he was there early in his career. And he's on to replace Regan Slater. But good to see Regan Slater back in after his ankle injury. Long ball away by Millwall. Coyle will scurry back, but just manages to guide that header back to Eva Pandor. He's got an option. He's got Coyle, he's got Hughes, and Egan says get it forward. And the Croatian duly obliges up towards McBurney. Egan follows it back forward again. Hirakawa being held off. Just shows a level of frustration there at the fact that was happening. But they've been very clever at doing that, Millwall, and the referee's allowed a lot to go, hasn't he? For both sides, to be fair.
It's happened both sides. But I think McBurney's got to be a bit more clever in there in terms of just standing. Can he win more flick-ons now with the wide players that we've got? We've got more pace coming off him.
Yeah, there's been a couple of times where he's gone. First choice has been trying to win the free kick.
Yeah. Well, and listen, the referee's not giving them. So you might as well try and win more flick-ons now and use the pace of the wide players.
Yeah. 81333 is our text message number. If you want to drop James a message after the game, we put RH at the start of your message. Again, there's a bit of pushing and shoving. Stewards and police having to try and hold some Millwall fans back. There's not much of a divide, is there, between those fans in that northeast corner. Certainly, particularly in the actual north stand end. Hopefully that doesn't come to much more. Millwall playing the ball out from the back again. Kramer just stretches there and then sends a left-footed ball forward. Hughes sends it back into Millwall's half. Dowell goes up for it and gets a touch. Tries to flick it to Joseph, but it's picked up by Condell. Or Doughty, I should say. Here is Doughty again. Now it's Condell. Midway inside his own half at the moment, looking for an option, finds a threaded ball through, in towards Ivanovic, peels away, might fancy a shot from range, he does, right-footed, comes off Hughes and deflects away for a corner.
Again, there's that change of a different centre-forward turning and being able to run at our back line, something different.
4 minutes of added on time, 4 minutes remaining in this first leg of the playoffs in the championship tie between City and Millwall. Will anyone take an advantage back to the Den for that second leg on Monday night? We'll be there and we'll have full build-up and commentary here on BBC Radio Humberside. Former City boss, promotion-winning boss Phil Brown will be alongside us for that one. Corner for Millwall. Left-footed, it's going to be taken. Played into the 6-yard box. Millwall man comes in Leonard, but City get a header away. Runs to a Millwall man. Drifts towards this right-hand side. Negley plays it off Crooks, out for a throw-in for City. I think came off Negley last. That's great work from Matt Crooks. I didn't think it had gone City's way.
That's the unselfish work sometimes you have to do as a centre midfielder.
Yeah. Giles trying to nick about 10 yards there, and the referee had spotted it. A few times he has blown his whistle tonight. Gavin Ward. Well, the officials and the police are going to have a fair bit of work on trying to keep things settled over in that far side. Hopefully it doesn't spill over into anything else. City have got the ball in the middle of the field. Played away by Crooks to that right side to Joseph. Joseph going to play an early cross in. Hangs it one up towards the back, in towards McBurney. Might drop down for Hirakawa, and it's defended by City. Lundstrom on the, by Millwall. Lundstrom on the edge of the box. Lundstrom once more with his head. Knocks it sideways towards Giles. Just shields the ball away. Tries to take on his man. Challenge goes in. No foul again. I think we should probably give up expecting one now.
He's not given much. Again, that was a chance there. McBurney heading one back across. No one really ready to go and get a shot off on those little second balls in the 18-yard box.
Tigers fans again in the final couple of minutes of stoppage time here. What will be the final game at the MKM Stadium this season? Will there be 2 more games, not just that second leg on Monday night? It's steadily poised to go into the game on Monday. City got themselves a throw in. 90 seconds left. Hirakawa to Lundstrom. Left back to Hirakawa. Cross comes in, goes through. Can Crooks get there first? He knew he wasn't going to be able to.
Offside from the throw.
Flag goes up anyway. And that will be a free kick to Millwall. And with just over a minute remaining, you feel this might just be ending in a stalemate. Been good having you with us tonight, Faith. Really good to see you.
No, but I was excited to come to the game. I always enjoy the playoffs. I'm glad it's not my club, but it feels like my club in terms of being here. Loved it. I was excited for the drive up. Not the most exciting spectacle we wanted from a playoff game.
No.
But 0-0, all to play for in the second leg if it does finish like this.
These games can go so many different ways, can't they? We've seen classics, we've seen really turgid games, we've seen edgy ones, which this has been for a lot of it. The game's opened up at times. It's had little moments where you thought, here we go, it's going to burst into life.
Exactly.
Just never quite managed it. And I think City fans will see this as one of your clubs. You've spent a long time here and had great success with them. You referred to them as we when you first came on air.
Yeah, all the time. Yeah, it does feel like we. I mean, over 8 years, I think, in my whole time that I've spent here, I enjoyed every minute.
Been good to have you with us, Will.
Considering I got booed when I scored my first goal here at Colchester, it did pan out differently.
A little bit, yeah. A little bit. As City wait to take this free kick, the referee is just going to have a word with Hirakawa. And is it Leonard? Yeah. And now that is the 4 minutes gone, but should just have time. Referee will tag on a few extra seconds. And they're coming across to say to Kyle, do you want me to take it? He'll leave it for his captain. He'll need to take it. Too many risks at this stage now. Oh, the referee is going to move Kyle back 4 yards?
Yeah.
5 yards?
3 yards.
Yeah. And now he's about 9 yards from halfway. Kyle will drive it forward. Up towards Crooks at the edge of the box. Knocked down. Bannon will play it away. Comes back up to Kyle. Referee puts his whistle to his lips. And they can't be separated at the halfway stage of this playoff tie because the first leg here at the MKM Stadium has finished goalless. A game, a few chances, a big chance in the first couple of minutes for Mo Balumi, but his mazy run finished with him hitting the post when you wondered how he hadn't hit the target. That was City's really biggest and best chance in the game. They'd had other moments, Kyle trying a long-range shot. Miller got in a great position but was offside, and McBurney with a header wide from Hirakawa's cross as he made an immediate impact into the side, having come off the bench. There was opportunity to couple for Millwall as well. We spoke about it being a cagey game. Millwall settled into it a lot sooner. City eventually managed to grow in, but just when it threatened to burst into life, it kind of drifted a little bit again. A bit of a nervous first leg in the playoffs, but City very much in it as they get ready to head to South London on Monday. Again, we will have commentary off here on BBC Radio Humberside. But all square at the halfway stage of the tie. Hull City 0, Millwall 0. Craig Fagan.
So the tie is not lost. 0-0. it's a good result. We're not losing. Again, I just think the players will know they can do a hell of a lot better when they go away to Millwall. They'll see signs in which they can create a little bit more. They had chances. The game would have changed if we'd have scored that first goal. Did we say Miller, was it the first one when he hit the post?
It was Balumi,
sorry.
Miller set it up initially.
That's right.
Balumi in, didn't he?
If he scores that goal, the game has to open up. It could be a different affair. But the word was mentioned, KG. No one really wanted to make a mistake, but no one really made a real impact on the game either in terms of the shots, crosses, or last pass in creating opportunities. All to play for, definitely in the second leg.
Yeah. What do you think Sergei will feel about that?
Happy in terms of it being 0-0. You're not losing. You're not having to go there and go ultra attacking to try and win the game. They'll open up a little bit more playing at home. I think that'll help us massively. They're the home club. They'll have to go for it a little bit more in terms of their home support. Will get on their back a little bit more if they're not a bit more open. So for us, I think that'll help us being away from home. He might look at it and want to change things slightly, having to give giving one or two a chance, having keeping the same team against Norwich. Because for me, Gail Hart didn't really do a lot today, and I love him. I think he's been excellent for us this season. He was just quiet, so that might be something that he looks at. He might take him out to bring him on. Sometimes it happens, you know, them changes, taking a player out, bringing him on as a sub. But he's got a lot to think about before Monday. But I think he'll be happy 0-0.
They've broken the mini pattern from this season that the two away teams have won the game, so City have at least managed to stop that one. Now if they can go and do what they did back in December down at the Den, there's a place at Wembley beckoning for them now.
Yeah, again, like you say, a place at Wembley beckoning, and both teams have got a lot to do. 0-0, I think both teams will be happy with a 0-0, but like I say, I think the way that they'll play, they'll have to open up at home will help us, I think.
Craig Fagan will break it down more with James Hogarth between now and 10:30 as we wait and try and get reaction. There's a lot of media attention on this game, but we'll do our best to bring you some reaction from Sergei and/or a player before 10:30 as well here on BBC Radio Humberside Sport. We're on a night where City and Millwall open things up for the EFL playoffs for 2026. The first game, the first leg, has finished on City 0, Millwall 0.
Tie between Hull City and Millwall. Nothing edging either team currently, nearing one of them to the opportunity of playing at Wembley in the Championship playoff final. The two clubs go again on Monday night at the New Den. And as Mike said, we've got full commentary of the game on Monday night with Mike, Phil Brown and me live from the New Den there. Let's talk between now and 10:30 about a goalless draw for Hull City against Millwall. Let's hear from you. How are your nerves now? Have they settled getting that game out of the way? We've seen how Hull City have played through the course of the season away from home in those pressure situations, in big atmosphere games. You look at the game when City played Millwall last year, just before Christmas, games like Birmingham away in this season as well. Let's hear from you. Between now and 10:30, you can text 81333, start the message with the letters RH. You can WhatsApp 08000 321 333. We'll bring Craig Fagan in a moment's time. I don't know whether he's trying to angle for someone trying to angle for a selfie between then and now. 81333 is the text number. Start the message with the letters RH. You can also get in touch using X, formerly Twitter, at Humberside Sport. Is the place to find us. Mike White will have live reaction before 10:30. Let's bring Craig Fagan back in. I don't know whether was that gentleman requesting a picture or...
No, that's my friend, to be fair.
Oh, fair enough.
He's waiting for the long trip back to Essex.
He's got enough pictures of you then?
Yeah, he has.
Okay.
Yeah, he has.
Going away now, getting this game out of the way. I mean, for the full game, you and Mike have called edgy and nervy. Has that maybe, will that reduce the nerves, do you think, in Hull City terms for the game on Monday night?
I think the manager would have tried to make the players a little bit more positive. I think he wouldn't want to lose the game, but now going down to Millwall, it's a one-off game, so I think they'll have to open up a little bit more, which are playing to our hands in terms of counter-attack football at times. A bit cagey at times, giving the ball away when there wasn't real need, under no pressure. But that's the playoffs for you. A team sometimes that are in form can play totally different in the playoffs, because there's just the edge of the way it is, the expectation, wanting to do well. The whole occasion can affect him.
Talks a lot about the referee. We'll come on to that. The fact he didn't give a lot away, that meant there weren't a lot of set pieces. Did that have an impact and a bearing, do you feel? Because he let so much go, whereas some referees would have pulled it back and there might have been more opportunities for set pieces.
And I think there's an understanding now. These referees, they go home like a football team and they have a dossier on both teams, on how they play, how many free kicks they have, and all. They see it all. So he would have looked at this game and be like, there's going to be loads of pulling. I don't want to keep giving free kicks all the time. But some of the fouls, which were fouls, he didn't give, so it didn't help us. I think we're decent at set plays as well. And then sometimes when it was going into McBurney, he was fouled a lot, didn't get the free kicks. So again, I think the referee at times didn't help.
Let's talk about McBurney. Didn't really have an opportunity to influence the game, did he? The ball maybe didn't get enough service. The ball didn't really fall to him.
I think he had, looking back now, maybe two chances. One in the first half where he tried to get across the defender, and in the second half when they changed the wide players, he had one which he tried to appeal and say it was a corner, but it wasn't. He headed it. He lives off crosses. He lives off crosses and set plays, and not enough quality really went in the box for him to have a real impact on the game today. But normally, I love everything about he brings. And another one, Dale Hart was quite quiet today.
What about the threats from Millwall? Did they, in many regards, did both teams almost cancel each other out?
Yeah, I think maybe Millwall were a little bit better with their centre forward Colburn, the way he got hold of the ball, clearances, he made them into good balls, and was able to thread their wide players in. Again, the real target man. Similar in the way both teams play, cancelled each other out tonight. But they'll be happy as well. Again, they never conceded away from home. Going home, they'll be thinking that they can use their crowd. So both teams will be happy that they haven't conceded.
Danny says, officiating awful. I think we are better away and still have this. Up the playoff Tigers. There's a counter argument about the match officials, but the away form now, City have done so well away from home. Now, I mentioned about the Millwall game before Christmas, an exceptionally good number of games this season. City have looked very good away from home, Birmingham one being another example. That will give Sergei Kirovic, that squad of players, significant hope, won't it? The fact they've played with a certain level of freedom away from
home. I think a lot of it to do with the manager's style of play. He's happy with not having the football. Some managers love possession, ultra possession, but he's happy with not having it, being comfortable not having the football, being a counter-attacking team, and that plays into your hands away from home, because the home team should have more of the football, should be a little bit more open, create more chances. But I think we'll do well at Millwall. I really do think we'll go there, give a better account of ourselves, and go and win the title.
Big handful, Josh Coburn through this game. Now, obviously, as we referred to beforehand, coaches have access to so much data, so much video evidence. It's not like these kinds of players can't be researched fully anyway, but the fact that this game, they've had a handle on him, he has been tough to handle, but John Egan and particularly Charlie Hughes have contained him throughout the game. He didn't score, he put a certain level of pressure on them. Will that fill the defence with confidence going into that game of the day?
Yeah, I think so. Listen, his link-up play is very, very good in terms of that he uses his strengths. He knows what he is. He's not going to run off you. He just holds on to the football. He gives Millwall a platform to play off. but they'd be pretty happy in terms of the centre halves, and he didn't really get a shot on goal. I think when they made the change, they looked a little bit more dangerous when he came off. But again, I still believe he'll start the next game when they play at home, and our back two centre halves will be pretty happy in the way that they've done.
Just a bit of breaking news from the EFL. We'll go to the fans panel in a sec. The EFL have just announced that Southampton have been charged with a breach of EFL regulations, and the matter will be referred to an independent disciplinary panel. This follows a request from the club's observations after a complaint from Middlesbrough. We know what that complaint is: unauthorised filming on private property. The EFL regulations would normally allow 14 days for Southampton to respond. However, given the nature of the matter, the EFL will ask an independent disciplinary commission to shorten the response period and to list a hearing at an earliest opportunity. Does that feel like that's been kicked into the long grass for after the playoffs, or could that affect Southampton and the playoffs?
You'd like to think it was affecting the playoffs, if I'm honest.
That feels like something's been sped up.
Yeah, it needs to be. From my point of view, if they've done something which is, what's the word, illegal, I don't know, is against the rules, maybe, that has to be dealt with. I can't understand how they're going to let a game be played and then do something after the game's been played. I think it has to be done before.
That is something very interesting tonight. We'll come back to that, perhaps, certainly in the lead up to Monday's game. Let's go to the fans panel here on BBC Radio Humberside. Tim Derrick is a City fan. Tim, how are you feeling tonight after that first leg?
Oh, it was a brilliant advert for the championship, that wasn't it? What an absolute battle that was. Dear me. I don't know what you. I didn't listen to the coverage because I was at the game, but I just thought the referee, if he'd clamped down on that, the physicality from Millwall as early as he had the opportunity to, maybe the game could have opened up and could have flowed a little bit, but yeah, it was Hull City Millwall 0, the referee won tonight, I think.
I asked Craig Fagan about that, Tim, a few minutes ago, and whether or not, because he allowed a lot of the in fact, Tim, we'll come back to you, because we've actually got live reaction here on BBC Radio Humberside, and we'll find out whether it was a slog for Matt Crooks into play. And it certainly sounds like Tim and the fans feel that it was, because Matt Crooks is live with Mike White.
He is. It might be a while before we hear from Sergei. A lot of media attention, but thanks to Matt Crooks for coming in so quickly after that one. Goalless after the first leg. We'll talk about and break it down in a second, but give us a reaction to that outcome first of all.
Even Steven's really, wasn't it? I mean, it wasn't total soccer from either team, I don't think. Obviously they've got a way of playing, which really affected the third in the table for a reason. But yeah, it's basically one game again. A bit like last week, going to that into the Norwich game, knowing that to get a result, just same again next week.
At least you're not having to rely on other people.
Yeah, it's just us against them. So this one went down there earlier in the season, played really well and got 3 points. So we're looking to get another victory.
I think you had your headset on there just as we were talking to Tim, the City fan, described it as a bit of a slog of a game. Is that how it was to play in?
Yeah, at times I think we could have set the ball a little bit better. Obviously it's going to be a touchy occasions, a lot on the line. Maybe it was difficult for us to maybe just settle down a little bit. So yeah, I think we can play a little bit better and just settle the ball down and try and play it on the floor a little bit more. But listen, it's 0-0 there, scores. We go there full of confidence knowing that we can pick up a result and take ourselves stronger.
And that's ultimately got to be the biggest positive to take from all of this, hasn't it? Because yes, you'd love to go with a lead, but I think most people who were talking to fans beforehand don't go with a deficit.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, there was a lot on the line tonight. Going down there, we just know we need to win a game of football. That's all it comes down to really, and we've got to believe in the group that we can do that. A lot of positive in there now. Like I said, it's a one-game shootout.
Did they settle into it a little bit, even though they didn't have too many obvious chances? Did they settle into the game a little bit easy? Were they picking up on those second balls a little bit easier?
I feel like I don't know his name. I think he was one of the midfielders jumped into that three.
Mazusaka.
Yeah, and I felt like that let them gain a little bit more control of the game. Even though they weren't really going anywhere with it, it was still felt like they had maybe a little bit more possession of the ball and maybe a little bit more time on the ball, whereas I think Colburn did well holding off
holding up the player and letting him come into it that way. So no, they're a good outfit, good team, but yeah, we know we can get a result down there.
How hard did Coburn make it? Because he was dragging you out at times, wasn't he? He was happy to come deep and get the ball and pulling Charlie and John out of position at times. How difficult did he make it?
Yeah, Josh is a good player. He was Middlesbrough, really good player, hard working, won't give you an inch. You know you're going to win a battle with him when he plays, so no, he made it difficult. He's had a good season this year, and he's probably their main focal point in a different team without him, so Eaves and Chaz know they're going to have a tough night with him, but I thought on the whole he's not got the goal, so they've got to pretty well.
We've had former City player Craig Fagan on commentary with us tonight. He was full of praise for you and Regan towards the end of that game, but admitted that at times you needed a bit of help in that midfield, as you said. They were opening it up in the midfield quite a bit, weren't they?
Yeah, it's like I said, we had like players dropping in and the inverted wingers, so they would come inside, so there's gaps between. And the 10 was dropping into little pockets, and you kind of wanted to press out, but then at the same time you got people behind you in the centre half that really want to step out, so you kind of like picking up 5 men between the two of you, so it's difficult, but Riggs has been brilliant this season, rightly so. Got the support player of the year for us, and he's runs himself into the ground, so no, I think yeah.
How were you feeling towards the end? You looked as though you'd copped one on your leg at one point, hadn't you?
Yeah, it was you got a bit of a dead leg, but we're fine.
Is that like just a dead leg?
Yeah, just stood me in there. Like I said, I don't go up now, so just play on for him.
You said that a few times. What did you make of that tonight? The referee was letting a lot go for both sides. How did you feel he handled that tonight? I'm not trying to set you up for this.
Are you sure?
No, honestly, I appreciate it, but I'm curious to get your take as a player out there.
Yeah, I think probably it's the occasion for him as well. Got to take that into account, and he's trying to do his best, I guess. So yeah, I won't hold it against him, but it was obviously a physical battle, so probably a difficult one to manage, I guess. He's done what he can, and just move on from it.
Because you've spoken a lot yourself about how you feel your size and everything that draws attention to you.
Yeah.
From Ollie's point of view, he always feels aggrieved about everything. Does he get kind of labelled with the same thing? He's present and the way he goes about playing the game as well?
I think so. Yeah, I think Ollie's got that kind of name for himself, where he's a bit of a Jack the Lad, and he on the pitch, and I think that probably will go against the referees, will label him with that as well. And things that probably Josh would get away with, because Josh is a nice lad. Ollie won't get away with it. It's just one of those things.
Do you ever want to say to Ollie, look, style it back a bit, or would you lose the essence of it?
No, I think that's just it. You've got to let him do it.
Okay. Yeah. Talking about you said about the knock today, you worried everyone on Saturday. I know that's kind of gone, but we just need to check. You went down and everyone was worried. You took a whack to the knocking with the ball.
Yeah, Shani was at the wrong balls, just having a little dribble, and he decided to just zing one straight at my tackle, so I thank him for that. Yeah, woke up for the game, I guess.
Nice little pre-match head test that you weren't expecting.
Yeah, it was an interesting one. It's never happened before, but I'll stay away from it in the future.
Fair enough. What was the manager saying at half-time?
He said something twice. I just said he felt like we could play a little bit more. We were a little bit too direct at times. I feel like we've done that maybe over the past month or so, maybe a little bit too much up to Ollie. It's difficult for him, play on his own, just going straight into him all the time, and maybe find a way to play through the pitch a little bit more. Something we'll have to work on in training. So I feel like, especially against Cooper and Crowley, the two real big centre-halves, that's what they play for, those long balls. So I think we need to play to his strengths, which is probably not long balls, more to his feet and get his runners off him. So there's something to work on. That's what he said at half-time. I wouldn't say his plan came out in the second half, but like I say, it's not one to be negative about. We went to the game on Monday and go down there knowing a win takes us home.
I look forward to it. Thanks for your time, Jim. Appreciate it.
Well, thank you to Matt Crooks. We'll go back to Tim shortly. Craig Fagan listening to his assessment of the game. What did you make of it? Too long at directed time, something that you pointed out in commentary?
Yeah, we defend compact, so when we were winning the ball back, they were going too long into him at times and too high. He's good with his feet as well, Bernie, so you heard him say that the manager said play a little bit more, play into his feet, and they tried to do that. Didn't work as well as I can imagine what the manager wanted, but they'll try to bring that in on Monday in the game. pitch, and he didn't want to say too much about the referee. I could just tell by the long pause at the side he wasn't happy.
You know, you've got a sixth sense of
but as well, what he touched on with McBurney is his character is he's a winner. He wants to win. He's trying his hardest for his team. He's not getting free kicks. So then, what he's saying is obviously the Millwall lad is a little bit nicer. So the referee was buying into when he was going down, he would get free kicks. Or so sometimes it does go against him, McBurney, because he's all in. Every single he's committed, and at times it goes against him and doesn't get so much.
Let's go back to Tim. Tim, thank you very much for your patience. How do you feel now? You've got this game out of the way. The kind of nervousness and edginess will probably build over the weekend, probably from fans. But City have a good away record. So how do you view this game on Monday night? And as Matt Crook said, a win and they're at Wembley.
To be honest, I quite fancy it. I think City away from home always look more threatening, they look more dangerous. The onus is always on them at home to try and press the game, sort of lead from the front a little bit, and that just doesn't really suit us. As Sergei Kovac has said so many times this season, we're decent without the ball, you know what I mean? Like, we're a more difficult side to play against when our back's against the wall. And if we get a little bit more from the left-hand side, Giles, I think he had his hands full today, that's why he wasn't bombing on. Maybe he's still sort of feeling the injury a little bit as well. But I want more from Miller on that left-hand side. I think sometimes the quality it just doesn't seem to be there. It's really frustrating because he gets himself into some brilliant positions. So a little bit more on the left-hand side. I personally would like to see Carl Joseph get a start. But, you know, we'll wait and see. But we go there at 0-0 with absolutely everything to play for. And we didn't expect to get into the playoffs looking at the situation where we started on the game against Norwich. We probably weren't favourites to get in there. We're in there now, and we'll be a handful for Millwall, no doubt about it. And as I said, I watched the game when we won there 3-1 earlier in the season. We were absolutely superb that day, so there's no reason why we can't go there and put on a great show and come away with a win, you know. And we'll all be heading up to down to Wembley for more fun and quiet.
Indeed. Tim, safe journey, enjoy the rest of your weekend. Thank you very much for joining Craig and me and the fans panel. The Beats family say Crook worked his socks off tonight. Might look like he's just got out of bed after a big night out on the town. But he always puts the graph in. Thank you to Tim for his contribution on the fans panel this evening. What is it about the thing that you've got two big players like you have? I mean, we can still hear Tim there in the background. So you carry on. It's a good job I know him. What is it about the football thing that you've got a backline like the one that Millwall had? So your logic tells you don't play it long because the likes of Jake Cooper will soak that up. So City play it long. Is that because you get drawn into a sort of side game and that's what happens?
Yeah, I think just at times as players, they have a game plan, of course, but they were so deep and they wanted to play forward quickly, and the detail of the pass wasn't great. They're trying to do the right things, and they're not trying to make a mistake. Basically, that's what I'm trying to get at. They're not trying to make a mistake, but then they end up giving the ball away and create more pressure with the ball coming back because we don't get hold of it, and the gap is that big then from McBurney to the rest of the team.
Obviously a big learning curve tonight from this game, and City can go to a certain extent without a level of fear. I mean, they're in the Championship, clearly they fear nobody, and they're all extremely good footballers, but they'll go on it's one game, that's it, isn't it? It's one game to determine the remainder of the season. Does that take the edge off it maybe in terms of...
I think so. It's a cup game. You've got to go there and win. That's the main aim of it. Like the caller said there, was it Tim, sorry?
Yeah.
The manager's even said it himself, sometimes we're better when we don't have the ball. And that is because they're more structured, they're not, the other teams aren't really hurting us, but then on a counter-attack, we'll go and punish teams, and we've set plays. I think, really and truly, we didn't really have a set play that caused a problem this evening.
Let's go to the fans panel once again, and Imogen has been to the game tonight. Evening to you, Imogen.
Hello.
So, what did you make of it then, as a City fan? You nervous now, or did the nerves ease a little bit at full time, knowing that there's one game left in the season?
Yeah, I think think, to be fair, I've settled a bit. Since how I felt earlier, like, it's just half time at the end of the day. It wasn't the most exciting of games, if we're being honest. But it's all to play for down at Millwall on Monday night. As a whole, I'd like to think away game seems the better, but it's not done by any means. It's disappointing on the night in terms of excitement, I think, but not in terms of results.
This text here from Webbo says, City the better side and a good referee. There seems to be a split this evening about the ref's performance. He did obviously let an awful lot slide this evening, whereas some Championship referees might be slightly more pernickety. What did you make of the ref's performance in the general flow of the game?
It wasn't the best I've seen, if I'm being honest, but I think it sort of goes both ways. But we get angry when they are wishful happy and blow up at every little thing. And then sometimes they maybe let a little too much go, which I think was the case today. And the game struggled to really, it did struggle to pick up speed and excitement at points, I would say. But there were no major decisions that were involving in the tonight, I think. It was just a frustration.
This game now out of the way, we know City play well away from home, play well out of possession when they don't have the ball. So how confident does that fill you? What level of confidence do you have, Imogen, going into that game on Monday night?
I think we just have to treat it as like 90 minutes, be on and on. Sort of like that's not saying it's alright. I think it's absolutely unplayable. We have every chance because as a whole we play well away, it suits us, and yeah, we've got no reason to be negative or like I don't think Millwall was hugely impressive tonight overall. I think it was a pretty draft game for most of our time in terms of what we are getting for. We'll see what happens on Monday. I'm absolutely not being critical about it. I'm thinking it's not winnable. All the night is winnable.
Indeed, yeah. Imogen, thank you very much. And I know you've come from across the Pennines for this game, so safe journey back home. Rich is in East Hull, says up the Tigers, James, classic playoff game tonight. I'm personally happy with tonight's result. I fancy City to get the job done at Millwall on Monday night. We are far better away. No worries also. Great to hear top man Craig Fagan on commentary. He knows how to score quality goals for City and gave it his all. There you go, bit of praise. Fine. Nice guy. It's your old mate Rich in East Hull. And this from DRN Tigers for Life say, some will be disheartened by not taking the lead into the second leg. First legs are always cagey, nobody wants to make an error. We held our own and 0-0 was the right result. Crooks was man of the match for me. Ref appalling for both sides, all to play for. Come on City. In your experience, is that the case that the first 90 minutes is often two teams sort of feeling their way around the game and sussing each other out?
Yeah, it tends to happen. It tends to happen in playoffs games. Not so much 0-0s. You might get 1-1, 2-2, a bit draws. But that's what it felt like tonight, KG. No one really wanted to make a mistake. Leading to the second leg where it becomes a little bit more open because it's you need to score to win the game. Whereas tonight it didn't matter if it was 0-0. So both sides will be happy in terms of not conceding. But hopefully a better referee performance for us at least. I know he was poor for both sides tonight. The callers and obviously the messages he had are correct in terms of that. But like I've said, when you've asked me before, I think we'll give a better account of ourselves away from home. And I don't think it's a pressure of playing at home. I just think the way we play, we're not great taking the game to teams at home, should I say. Away from home, better.
We're awaiting the reaction of Sergei Yakirovich. If we don't get it before 10:30, then we'll bring it to you on BBC Sounds because we've got to let Craig go eventually. Milky Junior says, a draw against 12 men at home is a good result. Crook's best game came at the right time. But now Joffrey and Mo need to produce the big performance at their place. Proud tonight. Brilliant, fantastic support, wonderful stadium, an industrious team, a charming genius manager, and superb foregone ground as well. This feels like a TripAdvisor review. We deserve Premier League football. And the performances of Mo Baloumi and Joe Gelhardt, not maybe where you want them to be. Do they come under scrutiny perhaps whether they start the next game?
Yeah, it's a tough one. So I know they have played well. Tonight I thought Miller done well in spells, but again they lacked the final ball trying. But like you said, Gelhardt and Baloumi just need a little bit more from. I don't think the way the game was helped Gelhardt. It's been excellent this season. Again, it's a chance for the manager to change things. I think the result maybe dictated him keeping the same team. I think the result tonight and it's not being the attacking players not being so connected as they were maybe in previous games. I think it gives the manager a little bit of opportunity to change the team.
Brody says, good game for the Tigers tonight. Looking forward to the game at the Den as we push to go to Wembley. Also, great performance by Baloumi, great passes into the box for McBurney. Interesting take. Obviously, being football, people have a difference of opinion. One thing for certain, you'd be looking at the game on Monday night, stop sort of slugging the ball, lugging the ball into the box, try and get the ball down and try and maybe sort of tie Jake Cooper in knots particularly.
Yeah, link up play into McBurney, runners off him, runners in behind him, crossing from areas inside the 18-yard box. What I mean inside is like the height of the 18-yard box instead of from deeper areas, because it plays into their centre-half's hands. We've got the capability to do that, just a little bit more care. And then Giles, in terms of being higher up the pitch, he had to do a defensive job because obviously Aziz is very good in attacking areas, so he's done a good job on him this evening. But can he now impose his attacking play on him in his attacking area, Giles, and get more crosses in from McBurney in the away?
Just thinking about a young Craig Fagan, or Craig Fagan now. If you were in that dressing room now, you've just played in that game, what are you thinking?
No. We're going into the next game, which is not out of our hands. Listen, if you lose this game 2-0 tonight, it's a different changing room. There's just positives. It's just a one-off game. I would be thinking, didn't play our best. It wasn't our best game, it wasn't our most creative game, but there's an opportunity to do better in a one-off game coming up. That's all it is.
And you've got to trumpet the performance of Charlie Hughes, haven't you? Playing with a double hernia,
exactly.
Been out of the side as a result of that. Sergei Kirovic felt that his form was impacted by that double hernia, his movement particularly.
It hurts, by the way. I've had one before. It does hurt. And so you can start the game, and then 20 minutes in, because of the movement, the twisting and turning, it becomes painful. So.
Craig, I know you've got to get back to Essex, so thank you for being a part of it this evening. And lots of praise for you on the messages as well. Safe journey back, good to have you involved. Let's get the live reaction from head coach Sergei Kirovic. He is in the tunnel area with Mike White.
He is. We'll get the first few minutes, James, before we have to go off air at 10:30. The rest of it you'll be able to hear in full on BBC Sound. Search for Hull City. Sergei, thanks for your time. Give us your thoughts on a draw after that first leg.
Expected game, very tough, very difficult fight for every ball in the air or on the ground. Who will be more successful second ball. Maybe we had the best chance in the game through Mo Baloumi at the beginning of this game. I was thinking it's good because Mo did everything fantastic, but unfortunately he hit the post. Then after we tried to control them, to make sometimes pressure to direct them on the one side, sometimes successful, sometimes not so successful. We had some nice action, good counter-attacks through Joffo, through Liam Miller, to Giles, but we didn't find the last pass. We were sometimes very hectic around the box, in the box with the ball, so we have to improve that. And also, I think that we controlled very good long throws and corners because they are very, very powerful at that. And the second half, we tried to close those channels that we allowed the first half. I think we did that, and till 17 minutes we had some situations there we can use that, but like I said, lack of a last pass. So better decision. And then after 70, they had control, especially in possession. Maybe we dropped too much down there, but they didn't create anything dangerous for us. And at the end of the day, I think it's a fair result to 0-0.
Yeah, I think most people would agree with that. Was it we also had a little bit cagey, particularly in that first half, a little bit edgy at times?
Yes, we have to be happy with the goal. We have to take risks. I know it's pressure because it's a semi-final, of course, and we try to convince the players that we can play this, because we showed many times this season that we can play good football. And but this is pressure, and I said already on the last press conference, we can do pressure better. The team will be successful.
I'm going to ask you to stay there. We're coming towards the end of the programme. We'll step away from this live. As I said, if you want the full interview, the rest of my conversation with Sergei Kirich, the next half an hour or so, it will be available on BBC Sounds. Make sure you search Hull City on there, and you'll be able to find the full interview. And of course, we'll be talking to Sergei again and building up to that second leg here on Monday on BBC Radio Humberside.
Mike, thank you very much for that. As Mike said, it will be dropping on BBC Sounds shortly. The nature of BBC Sounds means that you will not get a push notification, because the people that decide these things say 10:30 is past your bedtime. So keep an eye out on X, former Twitter, for the notification of the full interview, and just go searching for it by searching for Hull City. So goalless on the night, goalless in the tie, all to play for on Monday night. Our attention turns to Hull Kingston Rovers in Grimsby Town on Sunday from 2, and then the New Den Monday from 6.
Getting you closer to your club. BBC Radio Humberside Sport.
Offering them the right space to be in, is really important. I mean, there's something else, being devil's advocate here, corridors, if it is a block, if somebody is awfully, anaphylactic to dog hair or the dog saliva or whatever, someone could die from an allergic reaction to a dog if there's lots of corridors and lifts, for example. That's something that, has concerned me on occasions where I've been and done home visits in that sort of an environment.
Those shared spaces, access to flats. If you think some of those really large blocks of flats in big cities, actually you might have 100 or so flats, let's say, in some of those. If a lot of those have dogs, then you could be stepping into a lift as an allergic person to dogs, and have all sorts, many sort of dogs, saliva, hair, whatever in there. Yeah, so it is a real concern, and I suppose a landlord therefore might be able, I don't know, this is how the law's going to play out, but a landlord might be able to say, well, actually, there are allergic people who live at number 27, and they can't, we can't have them in any of these flats.
Yes, I know. So we'll have to see how it pans out. I also think as well, one worry is that people will be thinking, brilliant, I can now have a dog, which is fantastic. But, we know that abandonment, which we'll talk to Larissa Baldwin shortly about, has gone up 25% in the last year. So it's at the most record numbers ever of all time. And I think, really think it through before you bring a pet into your life.
Anna, thank you very much, and thank you to Adam, who's the lawyer who we spoke to there. I want to have a chat with Angela, who's given us a ring. Angela is in Suffolk. Angela, good evening. Nice to speak to you. Thank you so much.
Oh, hello. I'm just moving away from the radio.
Okay, you can do. Thank you. Otherwise we'll get a bit of echo on there. It will sound like we're sort of recording a Queen song, I think, if we do that. So just sort of a reverb on it. Right, Angela, Anne is here. What did you want to raise tonight?
I'd just like to say, I've had dogs since I was a child, and I think a pet is a good thing in people's lives. But the thing, I've moved now, I'm elderly now, and I haven't got a dog anymore. And I've got no problem with cats, but where I live now, there are so many cats. I've always, a member of the RSVP and always got bird feeders out, but I don't anymore because there's too many cats in my neighbourhood. And the cats don't, I just feel like I'm feeding the cats because I've seen them actually catch the birds when I first moved here. I didn't realise.
Providing food for cats because you're attracting all the birds in. Yeah, that's not what you're doing it for.
And I'm thinking, if there's like you said, there's 11 million possible rented places can now be allowed to have pets. And I think, well, another 11 million cats in this country is not going to be a good thing for the birds.
If you live in a tightly, densely populated area and suddenly you've got a lot more houses with cats, we know the stats. There's a lot of birds that do die. Go on, sorry.
Yeah, well, I've lived in my neighbourhood. I mean, next door's got 3, and the other side I've got 2. That's 5.
Oh, yeah.
Just within 3 houses, and I haven't got any pets.
This is worth considering, isn't it, Anna? This is something that could be an upshot of it.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I know my first cat, Gremlin, was quite a tyrant, actually. You know, and so cats are.
It's not funny for the birds.
It's not funny for the birds. I mean, trust me, he did rabbits as well when we lived in Buckinghamshire for a while, and that was a shock. You know, but look, you know. That's what cats do. They are.
Yeah, but could there be some restrictions on how many people are allowed to have? Why have you got to have 3? Why don't you just have 1? And not only that, they poo all in my garden. And if I had a dog and it went and did that in everybody else's garden, there'd be a total uproar.
Cats are sort of laws unto themselves. Like owners will let them out, and they don't know what they're doing out there. It's a good point, Angela. I think it's a really serious point.
Absolutely, you know, some people also have indoor cats that never go outside. I mean, behaviourally, you know, I'm not totally sure about that for the welfare of the cat. Yes, maybe this is an answer, you know, restrict pet ownership. I don't know if that's an answer. There's a lot of stray cats out there that have been, you know, abandoned and is left behind when people move. It's often the case.
Gosh, that's heartbreaking. Angela, thank you very much for your call. Lovely to speak to you tonight. Some really good points there that you raised. Thank you. Eileen has been in touch as well, and says, is there going to be a law that does not allow dogs to be left alone at home for a long